Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to GameGiants episode 32.5, quote unquote. I'm Jairus,
I'm Ben.
and let me just inform everybody. We actually did have a recording previously for episode 32.5, but what happened on my end was that for some reason my recording cut out and there was like a good 40 minutes without audio, and it's like trying to banter with Ben, but it wasn't there, and I couldn't really fix the problem. I ended up trying to salvage it, which took more time and effort and wasn't worth it overall, rather than just re-recording, which would have made it much faster. But yeah, that's the reason why this episode is a bit really late. So just a heads up on that. But yeah, sorry about that.
That's the problem with COVID. It's killing our progression on our own podcast.
Yo, but you know the vaccine's out, so maybe sooner than later you'll be able to come over, and then we can do our episodes again in person, which is always much more preferred. God, I miss it. And then we can always get our grubbing. Our ritual.
You live even closer to grubbing.
Yeah,
too.
I think. Yeah, I owe you a thing because you finished Breath of the Wild.
That's right. Oh my god.
Yeah. So well, what you been up to, buddy? What you been up to? What's been going on? Same old.
Just working. And stuff. I like busted up my wrist.
What happened?
During my chest press.
Ooh.
So like, I've been like not using weights really for like almost 2 weeks now.
Okay.
So that's been like totally ruining my workout stuff. So I've been trying to like run a little bit more, but it's been hella cold and it's raining, and I'm like, dude, this I hate running when it's cold.
You just gotta run faster.
Dude, it's like cold and windy. I was like, fuck this. I was like, I'll just go home and just like put on a sweater. It's like so cold. Plus when you have to like carry keys and your phone, you're just like wearing a bunch of heavier layers so you don't fucking freeze. It's just like, fuck this. What am I even doing?
Okay. I get you.
I mean, to be fair, you live in San Francisco, so you're much more used to it, and you ran by the beach.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's obviously gonna be colder and windier.
Mm-hmm.
We're just raised in different environments. So
when you start coming over again, dude, you're gonna be like, man, it's cold. I'm gonna be like, it's fucking hot. What are you talking about?
Dude, San Francisco people are crazy. It's like, so hot. I was like, what, 65? They're like, yeah, man, I'm sweating.
I'm sweating. It's a whole storm over here.
Dude, people at SF have like crazy like heat temperatures. That's what I noticed when I went to SFSU.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nice, I can wear a t-shirt today. That's pretty nice. And they're like, oh my, it's so hot. I was like, okay. But you always gotta wear jeans though, because SF weather will like turn on you like super fast. Yeah.
Dude, I'd be like, what is it? I'd be like, it's 7 degrees, and I'm like, it's a heat wave. People be like,
oh yeah.
People are like, what are you talking about? This is normal weather. This is like shorts and t-shirt weather. And I'm like, what?
Oh yeah. Remember 2 years ago during that massive heat wave, and I was like, damn, I wish I went to SF. It's like I think it was like 90 in SF. I was like, people are dying there. I was like, people like 90. Shit, I wish it was 90. It's like 110 over here.
Dude, I absolutely hate that. I hate that weather. Like I cannot survive in very warm places. This SF is like the perfect place for me. I also have fashion that's directly catered to this sort of weather, so I'm basically thriving here. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think that I was trying to go down to LA for some time in that place.
I know. I was just going to say, you're gonna go down to LA. You will just melt and be a puddle.
Yeah. I remember when I went there for Anime Expo, I think 2019 and 2018.
Oh yeah.
And like the weather there, oh my god, I think 2018 was when the heat wave was happening. That was ridiculous, man. I think I was so dehydrated at one point where like my body was fooling me into being like, nah dude, you're not thirsty at all, when in actuality I was like dying of thirst. It was so bad. I remember seeing this group of cosplayers who were like in leather, like military outfits, and
Oh god.
and it was the worst day. And I was like, how are they doing this? I'm like, they gotta be dying. There's no fucking way, man. But
Rails.
but yeah, man, just I don't know. When it comes to running, I guess I'm a bit more because of the cold used to it. So
Yeah.
I can see what you mean when you're saying like it's tougher to go out when it's been colder lately.
Yeah. I mean, when it's really hot, I feel like it sucks to work out because you're already sweating and burning like all the water like in your body by sweating so much already. But I was like, I can power through this though. But like, it's just like you just have to drink more water. But when it's cold, I feel like my muscles are like much more like rigid.
Right, right. Well, I mean, the thing with if it's too cold is you could just do a warm up and your muscles will eventually
That's true.
warm up and all that stuff. Like you just doing a jump rope, maybe for like I don't know, a good 10 minutes. As in like having sets of doing it within the 10 minutes will definitely wake you up or like get your body going. I just I don't know. I love working out, so I'm glad to hear that you've been continuing that.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that you had an injury. Like, what where were you going with, or you were working with weights, and then all of a sudden it just boom.
Like it didn't hurt. Like I felt like it's kind of like strained because I wasn't lifting like any more weights than I was doing before. So I was just like, but like the only thing I did differently was that I stretched my wrist beforehand. I was like, oh, I should probably like stretch out my wrist, and then it's very weird. It's like, oh, I stretched, and that's how come I got injured. But like that's like the only thing I was like I did differently.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when you stretch, did you warm up beforehand? Like, did you do like a light jog, or did you do a bit of a jump rope session?
No.
You just went straight into stretching. Have you ever heard the example that some fitness people do, where they say like don't stretch any of your body parts until you've done like a little warm up, because if you're stretching, it's like if you have a rubber band that was put in a freezer and you try to like tug at it, it starts tearing faster or something like that. That's what one of my old high school coaches said. And I was just like, oh, okay, so I guess I should always just like do like a quick jog and then stretch afterward. So that's why I'm mentioning that. And I feel like that might actually be the case with what happened with you, where you kind of just went straight to stretching.
Yeah, I guess I gotta do that next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just like, it's weird.
How's your wrist feeling?
Sorry,
now?
go ahead. It's better. I definitely can't like lift heavy weights anymore for the time being.
Right.
I just use like 5 pounds, like just to like get back to normal with like trying to lift weights at all. So
Maybe
definitely keeping it much light and doing a little
go.
bit more ring fit. Doing more ring fit just so I can like have at least some kind of level of workout.
Dude, Ring Fit is so dope. I actually really like it, but I haven't played it in a while because obviously now I have like a weight set and all that stuff, and I just run outside, so I don't feel the need to use Ring Fit. But that's not to say that the game's bad or anything like that. It's great, and I love that it kind of introduces people who aren't really familiar with working out to being able to do that with a game, because games are fun and it makes it more interesting and engaging for people to be in that workout mentality, but with that game. So I think that's cool that you're still playing it, is what you're saying, or you've been using
I'm still
it
playing
more
it
because of the injury?
I've been using it more because of the injury. I used to do it like twice a week, but I'm trying to do it like 3 to 4 times a week now.
Hey, that's what I like to hear. That's what I love to hear. Get that workout. Come on, dude. You got to get that butt ready for summer, because summer over there is probably going to be. But actually, no, we're still going to probably be in a pandemic, so never mind.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get those vaccines, because actually my mom and dad got the first dose of the vaccine, which I'm so very happy about.
Yeah, my parents got both.
Oh, they got
both of theirs already. Yeah,
shit.
Well, my parents are older because my dad's like 67 and my mom's like early 60s. So yeah, she got hers already.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. That's actually really great. And
Yeah.
you're saying that you're not able to get yours anytime soon? What was that earlier?
No, just because like we're younger. I'm younger. I don't work with anybody like older people or anything like that.
Right.
I'm like constantly working in stores, so it's like you don't really qualify at this time. So
You know,
yeah.
um, my dad was telling me to go get the vaccine, and he was just like, they're gonna ask you some questions, but you can just say this and this. I'm like, Dad.
That's messed up. I mean, I'm sure a ton of people get that, though.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I think I will wait until it's the proper time. But I think my siblings.
You don't want to be like those guys from Canada who like flew all the way down to Florida to get their vaccines.
What, that happened?
Oh yeah, that happened earlier this year, obviously. But like they were like very rich Canadians, and like they weren't like checking anybody's like identifications or where they lived.
Right.
So yeah, they were just able to fly on down and get a vaccine in literally another country.
That's insane, man. And they got wait. I mean, the news obviously reported on it, so people found out. Did anything happen to them?
I think they were like severely fined or something like that.
Oh baby, good. I mean, come on, man. You gotta find them for that shit. But yeah. That's I'm glad to hear that you're still able to work out. Maybe you should get one of those weight resistant or like those. Do you know what I'm talking about? The like bands.
Yeah. My mom has that.
Yeah. You can make use of those for like squats or for some sort of press that just goes against weight or like your own weight. If you wanted to go that route. But yeah. Anyways, moving past that. What else have you been up to? You said you've just been working out, running, and you've had work and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing like games and stuff, and like watching like shows.
Okay, well, let's hold off on the talking about what games we've been playing and shows until a bit later.
Right.
But let's see. Over on my end, I've been okay. So it's funny how people work. So you know how last time I said that I was kind of hating making music and all that stuff?
Yes.
Actually, a lot of my friends have been like kind of having me involved in some of their projects, and it's kind of made me start liking doing music production again. So it's nice, and they're also being really kind and paying me for my involvement with their stuff, and
that's good.
So I'm at a place where I'm actually enjoying the music process again, which is really, for me, it's kind of really happy for me to be able to say again, because I feel like for like a good 3 to 4 months I just wasn't in it, and now I'm back, and I very happy about it. So there's that, and I through doing that I've been taking a bit more commissions, just a bit more, just so I can save up more money for my CNA courses that I'm going to be taking in May, the certified nursing assistant stuff. So actually the reason why I was a bit late yesterday was because I was calling, asking and talking to one of the people there to figure out a payment program or a payment plan, because the nursing course or that nursing assistant courses is like around $2,000, and I just wanted to pay by installment. And then right after that I ended up having to do some readings for myself for like, I have this nursing textbook that my roommate lent me, and I was going into it and then writing notes, and it took a bit longer than I thought I was doing, or like I set aside some time for studying. Actually, recently I also hung out with some friends, and when I did that, that little thing. So one of them during a mid of the hangout, they were like, "Oh, by the way, I still haven't gotten tested." I was like, "Oh, why did you tell me? Well, I thought you did. I thought like I was under the impression that we were all safe and all that stuff. We had like our tests and all that. But then during the middle of the hangout, she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh," and then I told my roommates, and then they were like, "Okay, we don't feel comfortable with you coming back right away." And I was like, that's perfectly understandable. Thankfully, I was able to quarantine, and am still quarantining away from them in the old house that I used to live in. I have access to that, and that's where I've been doing my studying, because I have so much quiet There's literally no excess noise. It's just me making the noise, and I love it so much. I have this entire house to myself. There's a table there for me to eat, and I can cook and all that stuff. It's orgasmic, man.
Okay.
So I've been doing that, doing readings, and then commuting in the morning. Commuting. I walk all the way back to my workstation and then do work. So yeah, those are some things that have been happening on my end, just as a little update. But yeah, for the most part, we can start talking about some stuff. Although it happened a month ago, the Nintendo Direct is still relevant.
Yeah.
Was there anything?
Yeah, it's still relevant. What caught my eye? Well, obviously, Mithra and Pyra came out, and that was like a huge deal,
right?
Because they were. I watched some gameplay of them. I wasn't like super like I was like because I haven't like played Smash in like obviously a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like like they're a swap character like the old Zelda and Sheik, except instead of one being ranged, the other one being like fast, it's one's a heavy fighter, sword fighter, and then the other one's a much faster sword fighter. I was like, okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, and then like Pyra's like kill potential is like super high.
Oh my god, it's so
I was
high.
I was like, Jesus Christ, she's like her down air into up air is as strong as like Joker's Arsene, but at like even lower percentage. I was like, okay, that seems busted. And then Mithra is like essentially just Sheik, but like with way more range, and she has, I don't even know what that dash move is called because I didn't watch the mini direct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because apparently like people on Twitter were like, this dude's gotta stop spoiling like the games for people. And I was like, I guess I'm not watching it then because I mean I stopped playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Just because it was like overly complicated for a game that doesn't seem complicated at all. So I just like, I'll get back to it eventually. I mean, the trailer already spoiled me on like certain villains being good guys later because I was like, oh, I guess these guys don't stay bad since they're here. So I was like, okay. So I was like, oh, because I mean, he didn't spoil anything for Three Houses specifically, but he says like, oh, this is what happens after this thing. And I'm just like, oh, why would you say that? What if I wanted to play that in the future? What if I'm like, that does not get so I was like, fuck. I was like, all right. So I just didn't watch it. But yeah, they seem strong. I mean, obviously there are another two sword fighters, and everyone's like, oh great, another sword fighter.
Right.
And like, to be fair, I think that's pretty accurate. After, I mean, Sephiroth had just
exactly
is a long sword fighter. It's like, oh god. So I don't know. I mean, did you play them?
Yeah,
you might have played them.
I did, and I actually really like them.
Oh, I'm sure they're super OP. I watched MK Leo, like the best Smash Ultimate player, just fucking whoop on people with her.
Oh yeah, he's back. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, after that entire thing that happened and all that.
Well, he didn't get in trouble. Well, like he didn't have anything against him.
Right. But I mean, he did have a hiatus for a good bit. But that's awesome to hear that he was just like destroying people with them, because they are really fucking fun to play. Oh my god. Like, there is no lag in between switching from Pyra to Mithra. So like you can literally be mid-air and switch, or not mid-air, but like mid-combo and switch into like a different character in order to, you know, I don't know how to describe it other than the ability to switch pretty fast and then like switch your game up on like in literally seconds is just so fucking cool and fun. And they're both really competent. Like Mithra, even though she's a bit lighter and all that stuff, she's just so fast. And like you were saying, like fast sword fighter. And Pyra's not even that well, okay, she is slow, but I don't think she's that slow. It's not like
she's not that slow. Yeah. I was like, she's not, and her range definitely overcompensates for that speed. Like it's insane.
She has an infinite combo.
Oh, that's good. Pyra or Mithra?
Pyra.
I don't like. You don't even really need an infinite combo because you can like. I watched like, oh yeah, you can just kill at 80%. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
her side smash is ridiculous.
yeah, that and her up B, right? Because doesn't it like slam down with that giant flame?
Yes. Oh yeah. I was surprised.
That it was ridiculous. I was like, that range is huge. Like, poor Ike's probably like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Like, I was like, what? Like, I full charge my B and it's like half this character's range.
Yeah. What is it? Her up B is like Ike's up B, but 2.0. Like it comes out so fast, and it has really good kill potential. I love it.
It's absurd, yeah. Like if like you were to edge guard her and you missed, it's like, oh well, here we go. It's just like maybe it's like best not to like edge like if you don't properly edge guard her and you just get destroyed, like just get like knocked back with like an extra 20%. It's like fuck me, man. So yeah. Let's probably not talk about it for too long, just because it's old news almost. Well, I guess they just came out.
I mean, they're still really fun to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to the next thing. I was when they showed a bit of Monster Hunter Rise, I was actually really surprised because I don't really play Monster Hunter games. I've told you my experience with them, right?
Yeah.
I fucking fell asleep playing.
You fell asleep because it's a boring ass. I mean, it's not boring. It's just not for us. The idea of just going out to fight monsters, to come back and build stuff, and then to continue doing that. There's no story to it.
I tend to like grindy stuff, but for some reason this just wasn't up my alley, and I fell asleep while playing with friends.
Yeah.
But that was like Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS. But when I saw the gameplay for this, and then that it had like some story elements, I was kind of really surprised and digging it. I really like the aesthetic as well. You know, it's a bit more Japanese influenced.
Inspired, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was really awesome. Plus, the combat looked really smooth. And also, even talking about the recent Monster Hunter for PS4, I thought that was really cool. I just never really bothered playing it because I don't know. I was kind of phasing out of the PS4 at that point, just going Switch entirely. So it looked a lot of fun, and it looks like they obviously improved again on that because I cannot get over how smooth the combat looked in there. And plus, the new weapons they have, it really looks awesome. Are you gonna play that? You said that it's not your type of game.
It's not my type of game. It does look interesting. I will say that. With the more story involvement, because I think both you and I both agree is like if you don't have a really engaging story, will fall off regardless of how good the gameplay is or whatever. So I was like, looks cool. Just probably won't play that. Like that's how I felt about what the fuck is it called? Triangle.
Project Triangle Strategy.
Yeah. I'm like Triangle Strategy, right? I look at it and be like, okay. That looks cool. I respect it for what it is, but I'm not gonna buy it. Like I was just like, that's just not for me. I'm like, I'm trying to be more like that now after Hollow Knight, where I was like, all right, fuck it. Like I'll respect for what it is doing and its aesthetic and everything. I just don't want to buy. I just don't want to play that game. It just doesn't look fun.
This is character development for Ben, guys.
This is character. This is my video game taste where I've stopped trying to buy games that everyone says is amazing and just look at it and be like, I don't know if I'm feeling up to it.
Right. I think that's awesome.
At least Hollow Knight was like $10, so I was like, all right, whatever.
Oh, actually, that's a fucking steal, dude. What the hell? I bought that when I think it was 20, because it was still pretty valuable at the time. But actually, that you mentioned Project Triangle Strategy, I actually played it. I played the demo.
Yes. Yes. You told me. How was that?
It's fucking hard.
Okay. I'm surprised, but go ahead.
Yeah, I like strategy games, right? I love these type of games, these tactics and all that.
You're a huge fan of Fire Emblem. Yep.
Huge fan of Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics and Ogre Lotus, or what was it? Tactics Ogre. So this is more so within the realm of Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. And while I was playing it, I was like, no one's gonna die. I'm not gonna have anybody die. I fucking had somebody die in the first mission that we were playing because I was
God.
I was like, oh, I blinded this person. There's no way they're gonna hit, but no, they fucking land their hits because why not? And one of my people died, and I was like, oh my god! So I had to reset. And then in the second mission, I fucked up like I think 3 times, and it took me way longer than I thought it would. The cool thing, what I did like was that the main mechanic that they're kind of advertising is the environment, being able to
yes.
make use of the environment to benefit your legion, your what would you call it, your army, and making use of that. I was like, oh, this is cool. However, making use of it at the wrong time.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, oh god. So I definitely had issues in the sense of like I sucked. I definitely had to redo missions a few times to make sure nobody was dying. And I don't know, I really like they on top of the environment, using the environment in order to help aid you in battle. There's also the judgment mechanic that they have. Judgment mechanic, I forgot what it's called.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Tactics Advance, where the judges are like, you can't use this spell, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then you're like, fucking go to jail. You lose all your experience. I was like, fuck this game up.
No. It's not judgment. I think it's like a scale. There's a scale of justice, I think is what it was called.
Okay.
And there's like these 3. You know how in Mass Effect you have those not pariah, what was it called?
Paragon and Renegade.
Yeah. In this one, there's like 3. There's the Paragon, Renegade, and there's like the in between.
Neutral.
Yeah, neutral. There we go.
Okay, so it's like SMT style then.
Yes. But the cool thing is that when you're doing the voting and all that stuff, like they will have the current debate, or like the current thing they're going on, like, oh, should we aid this guy or should we just give him up to the people so that way there's not so many losses, because it looks like we're gonna fight a losing battle.
Okay.
People will obviously be on different sides of the decision. Like 2 people will be like, no, we're gonna help him because we promised we would, or people will be like, no, we're gonna give him up to the enemy forces so that we can make sure that people, or like we live as an army and can fight another day. And then there's also people who are just like not voting at all. They're just like, no, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna just refrain from voting. But the thing is that I thought was cool is that you get to explore the map when these happen, and then you can ask around in the town about like information, and then information that you find out, you can go back to the NPCs and then try to persuade them to vote in your favor of what you believe in. And
I see.
Yeah, it gets pretty cool.
That's
but
pretty interesting.
You have to make sure you answer things correctly, otherwise people are gonna be like, some of the NPCs will be like, oh, though your opinion is valid, I think I'm going to stay on what I'm voting for, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yes.
No, I don't want it to die.
That's the I'm gonna go on GameFAQs and be like, what's the right answer? It's like looking like, what the fuck? It's like Persona when you're like doing the test, you're like, I don't know what you're asking me. I'm just gonna look this up.
Yeah, okay, that's me. That's what I did in order to get that perfect. What was it? The efficiency for leveling up intelligence, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I remember I did that for Persona 5. Because you had to
do that for knowledge,
right?
Yeah, for your stat. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Project Triangle Strategy, I hate the name, but I am very much looking forward to.
Have you seen that Twitter account?
Yes. I know.
Project name creator, fucking hilarious. Kills me. I'm like, dude, you're killing me with how awful these names are. They're so accurate. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I think one other was like Project Hug Me or something like that. I definitely have a blast reading through them. But yeah, in terms of Project Triangle Strategy, I'm very much looking forward to it. And also the music's really fucking awesome. The person who did the music is actually the person who composed for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. That means I'll listen to the OST and then not play the game.
Yeah,
that's how I felt about what was it, Bravely Default, where I was like, I was like, this soundtrack's really good. It's too bad I just don't want to play this game. It's just like, oh no, like nah.
Oh yeah, that's right. During the Nintendo Direct, they actually ended up talking about Bravely Default 2 and how there's like, oh, there's a full trailer, just not in here, just watch it outside. And I'm just like, that's interesting that they did it that way. Have you heard anything? Well, I mean, that's not technically your type of game, but have you heard anything about it? Bravely Default 2?
No. I saw their promotions on the week of release for Nintendo, and then no one talked about the game. So I was like, well, I mean, people who even played the game didn't talk about that game. So I'm like, you can tell no one gives. I was like, no one really gives a shit about Bravely Default. But have you played it? Have you heard anything about it?
Bravely Default 2? I watched a reviewer, or I watched a YouTuber review it, and
okay.
I trust his opinion a lot, and when I heard his review, I was like, oh, you know what, maybe I will go ahead and buy it, because I was on the fence for buying the game for a long time, just because, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I needed to buy it. I didn't want another JRPG.
No rush.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no rush for me buying games right now. Like, I'm not playing that many games. So getting into something like that, I was like, maybe I can hold off on it. But hearing his review, I was definitely more inclined to buy it, and I'm definitely thinking about it, especially after getting getting some Monet recently. I've been in the running to buy some Switch games for myself to enjoy personally. So we'll see. I'm definitely inclined to get that, and also to get Triangle Strategy when that comes out, but that's like next year, so I have some time. Let's see, anything else in the Direct that you ended up liking or thinking about talking about?
Yeah, I mean, Splatoon 3, I made the joke before. It's just like oh, okay, like this is for whatever reason they're the only franchise in Nintendo that can accurately produce titles every couple of years like a normal game company does.
Oh yeah, that's right. Didn't you make the comparison that there's another franchise that Metroid Prime?
Yeah, you compare it to like Metroid Prime, which hasn't had a new game in like 10 years, or you compare it to Mario Kart, and they haven't made anything new. You compare it to fucking, I mean, Breath of the Wild came out like X amount of years, so I guess it doesn't count. But it's like damn, man, why is this the only franchise that Nintendo has that's like, hey, we should make new games. Like, let's make a new game. Like, all right. Like, no, Nintendo's like, we gotta take a real long time and long look. I think maybe, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, fuck, man, come on. I'm so tired of like waiting for like fucking Mario Party or Super Mario. What is it? Super Mario Party?
That is never gonna happen, Ben. No matter how much fun you had destroying me, Sam, and whoever else we were playing with, you're never gonna get an update on that.
It's so dumb that there's no DLC for this game. It's fucking stupid. I was like, fucking serious? It's like money on the table. I understand Nintendo's like, we don't really do DLCs, but I'm like, God, fuck, man, it's so stupid.
For those of you who don't remember, Ben destroyed me, and I don't remember who else we were playing with. Were we playing with Sam? I think we were.
No. We were playing with Sydney and your friend, and I like got like 8 stars, and then you guys were at like 2. I was like, this is an absolute slaughter.
Yeah, that was the worst game I ever played of Mario Party ever. Yeah, so that's why I hope it never gets an update, so that way Ben and I don't have to play ever.
It was amazing. It's so good.
I still can't forget about that, like the graph after where we're just like, oh, look at that, it looks steady, and then exponential growth on Ben's end. I'm just like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was really it for Nintendo's. Unless you had any other games you want to talk about.
Well, I mean,
for the Nintendo Direct.
I mean, the thing that they ended up also announcing was that Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword thing, but I obviously...
Oh, right. My God. That was so unrememberable. I completely forgot about it.
It's so bad, man. I really don't give a shit about it, and I do not plan on... Okay, I'm sorry. Let me be a bit more open-minded. I personally don't
no interest.
Yeah, there's no interest there for me. The Joy-Con that they ended up having for it, I think, will be a very bad investment is for anybody because of the fact that they have not fixed Joy-Con drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless there is a solution to that, I do not advise anybody buy that at all.
Yeah.
Unless that is the model that they make that fixes it for some. Or, can you imagine
that? Would be absurd.
Can you imagine that?
Only the limited edition version of this Switch controller gives you like fully functioning Joy-Cons. That would be stupid.
That is the biggest middle figure that they would be ever able to pull off.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from that, there were also some cool smaller games that were announced, like the HD Remastered. Yeah, literally was just about to say that. I really like that. I love that they're redoing the soundtrack for it. I remember seeing this game. A YouTuber that I watch, I forgot his name. Fuck, I remember. But he reviewed this game, and then I was like, oh, I remember this game because I played it on my friend's PSP that was hacked. And I was like, it was really cute and really fun, and I was like, I would love to play it again. And knowing that it's coming to Switch, I'm just like, it's the reality that I want. Or not reality, it's the dream that I've been waiting for. So that was cool. And that's literally it. We did talk before about that card shooter game.
Oh yeah.
Just
that was
it looks interesting.
It looks interesting, but like, how long am I gonna like play that game for? Is like would play it like like unless it's like a multiplayer. And I just thought it was weird because you don't hold a gun, you hold a card. Mm-hmm. So it feels very awkward to like look at it for players. Like, you know, you're not actually holding anything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. Kind of indifferent to it.
Gotcha. There's also the whatchamacallit, the Travis touchdown. What's the game? No More Heroes 3?
Oh yeah, No More Heroes 3. Yeah,
right.
I mean, they just cranked up the absurdity even higher by like having aliens. I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine. That makes sense to me. Like, yeah, aliens, yeah, of course. I was like, just be better than 2. It's like the only sequel. I was like, I've never been more disappointed by a sequel to like actively not change for the better in a video game, instead change slightly for the worse. I was like, that's incredibly stupid that happened. But yeah, they brought back the stupid chore mini games, which I somehow end up missing because the mini games in 2 just fucking sucked. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck these things. Like, they weren't fun, and they were like very harshly graded, so it just didn't feel any fun. So I was like, all right, maybe these dumb chores will control better and be like funner. So I don't know. We'll see. It looks cool aesthetically.
Right. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever play it because I never really got into. I wanted to get into it when I was younger, but I never did get the game because that was at a time where I wasn't working and I was still with my, very dependent on my parents, and they were like, "No, we're not buying you a game that's like at the time games were like $50."
Yeah, $50. Yeah,
and they're just like, "No, we're not buying you this," and I'm like, "Why not?" The games were a luxury, and they still are.
Yeah, they still are. I mean, No More Heroes, like for the Switch now, I think is like $20, and if you grab it on the sale, it's probably like 15.
Right,
and it's like, I appreciate it that it's not long. As some like I talked about it before, where I was like, dude, I don't got time to fucking play all this shit. Like, even though I'm playing a ton of JRPGs right now, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm never gonna like finish this on time or finish this. Yeah, it's just one of those games that I was just like, this is gonna take me too long. No More Heroes, I'm glad it didn't take that much time. I greatly appreciated that it was like a 6-8 hour game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's nice knowing that's short. Maybe we'll see, because I feel like the gameplay, after what you've said about number 2, is especially, I'm just like, it doesn't sound like I would actually be into it.
Yeah.
So
I think just try 1 if you ever want to like get into it. Just try number 1, and if you enjoy it, then yeah, keep going. I would say number 1 has only Was that number one or number two? Actually, no, that was number two. Never mind, just kidding. That terrible boss fight wasn't number two. Okay, then never mind. It's like, it's pretty fine. Like, number one has like some silliness to it, and like still, I thought it was still pretty fun for what I played.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to be fair, I had never played No More Heroes until that time, like to completion. So I was like, this is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, so I think that's majority of like all the things that we really bothered with in terms of the Nintendo Direct. Yeah. Moving on, dude, did you want to talk about Pokemon?
Yeah, there was the Pokemon Direct, in which obviously a lot of Pokemon fans fucking hated, because Pokemon fans hate everything. They fucking hate it. They fucking hate it. And every time I think of it, I was like, yeah, it's not great. And I just assume now that Game Freak just can't do it. Like they're not, like, they don't hire the people, or they don't want to, or whatever it is, but they just don't have the skill to make AAA games.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you look at like Brilliant Diamond and Pearl, or whatever the fuck it's called, the Diamond and Pearl remakes. It's like, I just don't understand like how this company works. Like, I mean, a lot of people like say like, oh, you know, like Game Freak makes all the games, right? It's not actually, or the Pokemon company, it's not actually Nintendo. And I'm like, boy, is that true. Like, for anyone who's like, must think like, hey, how come Nintendo doesn't make these? It's just Game Freak. I think it's just like, they have to be like, we don't want to do it like this, and B, we can't do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
The Diamond and Pearl remakes, it's like, I was like, okay, it's like we remade it but kept it chibi looking like the original DS games, which I was like, okay, that's weird. But in battle, like, it looks like Let's Go, like visually wise. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, so it's still that. I was like, I don't really understand what they're trying to do here, but okay. Well, like, and then it's like, oh, it's a faithful remake of Diamond and Pearl. I was like, I don't... And everyone's like, what does that mean, like, a faithful remake? Because, like, first off, who is it the creators behind? Because somebody else is making it. It's not Game Freak themselves.
I forgot their name. I know what you're talking about, because a lot of people are commenting on how they're outsourcing more.
Yeah, did they outsource it to the mobile game developers? Ah, fuck, what is that game? Pokemon Masters or whatever?
Oh my god.
Like, I think they outsourced it to them, and that's why it's just like, I mean, sure, the director is still Matsuda, who created the original one anyways. But I'm just like,
it's on the tip of your tongue, or you can't even get it.
I don't remember. I gotta fucking look this up now. I'm like, who the fuck was this? Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. My god. But I'm just gonna like. But go ahead. Just say what you want to say.
For Brilliant Diamond and what is it?
Shining Pearl.
Shining Pearl. I'm kind of excited.
Those are actually not bad names. I think those are pretty solid names.
I think it's kind of, well, Shining Pearl. I'm cooler with Brilliant Diamond, but Shining Pearl sounds kind of lame. I am fine with it. I don't mind too much. I'm just happy it's getting a remake at all, for in terms of my favorite gen. So I kind of hope that they're gonna add more to the end, like, you know how they did with Fire Red and Leaf Green, where they had those bonus islands and stuff like that. I hope they have like end game content that's kind of an add-on. That would definitely make me super happy. Well, I mean, or I guess what would be better is with Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond is they literally just incorporate Platinum's story, I guess, because I never played Platinum, but like I heard that was like the definitive. Well, I mean, they tend to always be the definitive edition.
It's their definitive version.
Yeah, I hope they do something like that. Maybe add that in there.
The developer is ILCA.
ILCA.
Who the fuck is this? Oh my god. Oh right, they worked on Pokemon Home. That's what it was. In terms of Pokemon, they worked on Pokemon Home. That's what it was. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, like I guess. Yeah, but they helped out on the visuals for Yakuza, Dragon Quest, 11, Nier, Automata, Ninja Storm 4. I guess Bandai uses them too then. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I'm just gonna like just assume like they just like I'm just like I'm seriously debating on getting it unless it has like the extra content like Platinum does.
Okay, so you're also
like
the mindset of me.
Yeah, if it doesn't have like the Battle Frontier, the Giratina like side plot thing, or that stuff, then what the like? Why would I even bother, right? Because it's like there's like a lot of like I don't want it to be like a really like
1-for-1 remake.
1-for-1 of Diamond and Pearl. It's just like that just seems fucking boring, right? That's just like
kind of seems lazy.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Game Freak to be lazy, dude. I was like, they're still not the entire Pokemons in Sword and Shield just yet. I'm just like, I don't even think they're gonna add it. So it's just like, okay.
Yeah, what is it? I think even though they have a tendency to be a bit lazy in that regard, I think it's okay because obviously our generation has already experienced it, but these new generation or fans of Pokemon may not have, so they kind of can get away with it, in my opinion. Not saying that they should do that, that they should kind of rely on just 1-for-1 remaking. I definitely would like to see some new things implemented.
Quality of life.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they might, hopefully, or do you think they would bring a mechanic back like Mega Evolutions?
I don't know. Probably.
I hope they would.
I hope they bring back Megas. Megas were cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, dude. Megas.
That would probably be the only mechanic I want back.
Yeah, Megas.
Dynamax is like okay.
Okay. Yeah, but what is it? I mean, obviously, I didn't get to play Sword and Shield, so I didn't really experience the Dynamaxing, but I didn't think it was that cool. I definitely like Mega Evolutions way more because it gives you another layer of the Pokemon that you already thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like seeing Charizard. Oh my god, I loved it.
They definitely did not give Gigantamaxes to cool Pokemon, which I think was one of their biggest problems.
Who would be cool for you?
Like the original starters in Sword and Shield don't have Gigantamaxes until the DLC came out, which was stupid. Like I was like, okay. And the only one that I thought was cool that had one was like Charizard's.
Oh, Charizard.
And then everyone, yeah, he had the Gigantamax. To be fair, I think the Gigantamax designs are much cooler than Mega Evolutions.
Really?
Because while Mega Evolution, yeah, I think like if you look at Gigantamaxes, they look more interesting than Megas. Like I put them side by side. Literally, I watched ProZD like do a breakdown of like what he liked visually designs. Some of the Megas are fucking lazy and they suck. They like actually like these are all garbage. Like Mega Manectric, garbage. Mega Latios and Latias, garbage.
And wait, Mega Salamence. I hated that one.
Mega Salamence is like I was like, okay, you're a moon, I guess. Like
no, dude, it's a croissant. Like, oh my fucking.
Or it's like a crescent. Yeah, it's a croissant thing. That's like okay, like like what was in like Venusaur's. I was like, that's fucking lame. Like Venusaur's. But if you look at Venusaur's Gigantamax, I was like, all right, that's kind of cool because like Gigantamaxes is like we made them look fucking scary. That's what they was like. Imagine if that was like a Godzilla monster,
right? Like
type thing, rampaging. Then it's like, okay, that's more interesting than like, because some of them are like fucking lame, dude.
I'm
like
looking at these
Slowbros.
right now.
Slow Bros, it's like, oh, okay, he got the shell just encompasses his entire body. I was like, wow, really fucking cool. It's like Aerodactyl, he got more spikes. Wow, awesome. That's really cool. I also designed that when I was 10 years old. It's like but at least like, I mean, Lapras looks kind of weird because it transforms into like a half boat, and you're like, all right,
Okay,
it's
let me
kind of
see
weird.
that.
But like Kingler's is like, he's got like a crazy beard bubble, and he's a fucking giant snow crab, and you're like, if I saw that, I'd be absolutely terrified.
Ooh. I'm looking at the Lapras one. It does look kind of like very much like a fair or a boat, yeah,
Yeah.
like a luxury boat or something like that. Seeing the original starters, it is actually pretty cool. I like Charizard's, but I just wish that they stopped making Charizard's belly really big. But I think they do that to make it seem like he's not that intimidating. Because if you've seen some art of like Charizard where he looks like a dragon kind of thing, he looks so fucking badass. Oh my god.
Yeah, I do think Mega Charizard X is really cool. But I think like overall, I prefer some of the designs for Gigantamax more than I did the Megas. I would say I can probably choose like a handful of Megas that I thought were cool, and then the most of them were like meh to like not really interested. Like Kangaskhan's Mega Evolution is like, okay, the little kid in her belly can fight now. I'm like, that's cool and it makes sense lore wise. Visually, really boring to look at. It's just like, okay.
The only reason why I was surprised when you said like, oh, I think the Megas or the Gigantas are cooler than the Megas is because I didn't play the game and I only saw very few Gigantamaxes, and one of them was like the Pikachu, the original one, and I was like, that's just original Pikachu. And I'm like, are they just
Pikachu?
Yeah, I'm like, are they just gonna do that with everybody? And I was like, maybe they're all gonna be. I'm just assuming at that point. So that's why I was surprised, because I thought some of the Mega Evolutions, specifically Charizard's, were super dope.
Yeah, Charizard's are super dope, but if you look at the other ones, it's like, all right, I guess. You're like, it's not that cool.
Right. But yeah, I'm hoping they introduce something new or refreshing when it comes to the remake for Pearl and Diamond.
Well, I mean, that's what Pokemon Arceus is for.
That actually looked pretty cool. The funniest thing that I saw on Twitter following that was the dodge roll and people.
Oh yeah, the Dark Souls.
Yeah. And people were just like, I think someone made a photo where it's like dodge rolling from an attack from like some sort of Pokemon, and I was like, that would be dope.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah, and it has like the Dark Souls music in it. Yeah, I love that. That was pretty cool.
So what do you think about it?
I was like, why is the frame rate so bad in this trailer? I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, and like, there's like barely any Pokemon that you can see visually there. So I'm like, I'm kind of worried how well that's expected to run, especially with the new recent announcements that there's going to be a new Switch model in the near future. I'm like, boy, I hope this game can like run really well and look visually nice, because they're opting for an open world Pokemon game, which everyone's been asking for years. I have high hopes, but it could be disappointing, which would crush me, like more than knowing Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are meh. Like, so yeah, it's definitely a bold step.
Yeah, I think this is a good step in the right direction in terms of all Pokemon games, which I hope they pursue this, even though it would be basically they can't be lazy moving forward if they're going to be doing it open world like that, unless what they end up doing is they create, I don't know how to word it, it's like Final Fantasy 14 where it is the base game and then from there on you buy expansions and they just add on kind of thing.
They never do that.
I think
they would never do that.
I think that would be a smart move for them if I don't know. I just feel like that would be really good. But
that would be a really good idea.
I'm a consumer.
That's why they would never do that.
Yeah, I'm a consumer. I'm not the business person in that sense. So obviously, I'm not thinking in terms of benefiting the company. I'm thinking in terms of me as a consumer getting the most out of it.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Right.
Never do it.
I would love for that so badly. Because then it would also mean that, you know, you get that base Pokemon world and then you just keep adding on. And oh my god, the lore that could. Oh my. Man, the possibilities. I'm creaming over it. And like they with each expansion, like big one and all that stuff, with story expansion, all that stuff, they could add more Pokemon models that. Oh my god, like it would be perfect.
That'd be cool.
Oh my!
I wish they would do something like that. Yeah.
Right, but they won't.
They won't.
When I was seeing that, obviously you already commented on it, but I did notice the frame rate drops, and I was like, I hope it runs better. Maybe like you mentioned, the Switch Pro would help that out, but yeah, since there wasn't really that much to go off of from the trailer, like we're just gonna have to wait and see what ends up like coming out in terms of additional trailers, and maybe gameplay demos or gameplay trailers.
Yeah, because that comes out next year, and then because Shining, the Diamond Pearl remakes will come out towards the end of this year holiday.
Let's see.
I just realized there was a Square Enix showcase.
Yeah, I actually wanted to go towards that in a bit.
Okay.
What was that?
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch the showcase. I just saw the new game or the new IP that they're talking about.
Yeah.
What was
I just watched it.
Four something? Project 4.
Project 4? What?
No.
God damn it.
No, I'm trying. What was it called again? Square. Let me go.
I saw Outriders, which looks like Destiny. I was like, oh wow, Destiny, but like with more monsters.
The new IP, Forspoken.
Oh yeah.
And it's Project Athia. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the guy that's his studio who made 15 and then started his own studio.
Oh shit.
This is that guy. He was supposed to make the rest of the 15 DLCs, and he said, "Fuck it, I'll make my own company."
What was that?
I was like, all right.
Tabata, right?
Yeah, Tabata. Yeah.
Yo, dude. Okay, I'm looking at it, and it does look really dope.
It looks dope, but I was like, "That's not real gameplay. I don't believe you. Like, that's not real." Like,
well, I mean, for me, in terms of 15 and how the game was previously built and stuff like that, seeing Noctis being able to do all those like very flashy in the air aerial moves and teleporting, I can buy this. I mean, in the sense like I can see this actually being the gameplay, but there is what is it, tendencies for companies to obviously make their gameplay,
make a visual trailer
and make it seem like gameplay. So I guess to err on the side of caution, it would be smarter to assume that this is definitely not actual gameplay. But I don't know. For me, it just, they might have just done this trailer very right in the sense that they made it look very much like a gameplay trailer because they have 15's previous gameplay to go off of. Because I'm like looking at the tail or of the game, and
all that cool spinny stuff.
Yeah, maybe the spinning. Okay, yeah, I guess that part. But seeing the actual like fighting against like the bear and whatever else seems like that is the gameplay.
Take that, bear, you best. It's gonna be. Watch it be exactly like 15, right?
Oh my god.
There's no story for like 8 chapters, and then at the last 4 hours of the game, they just dump it all on you, expecting you to be like, okay.
Yo, oh my god, dude. Vanilla 15 was so bad.
God, Vanilla 15 it just had so many problems. I was like...
do you remember the hallway simulator chapter?
God, that was awful. With the ring, a ruin.
Yeah.
I played 15 after that patch, though.
Oh, fuck.
Dude, I remember people were like, this is the actual worst. And I was like, this is... Even with the patch, I was like, this is pretty bad. I was like, fuck this part. Like, so garbage. Why would you make the most significant thing to his powers fucking life drain you? I'm like, what was the point of this? I was like, this fucking shit to your ring. I was like, fuck. I was like, why did we... I would have looked at our family, like at our royal family. I was like, why did we use this? could we not make anything else?
Like, I beat the game, right? I beat the game once, and this was before the updates. And after that, I never went back. So I never got to get the updated story cutscenes that were added, or the updated parts that explain a bit more about who's that guy who seemed like very much seemed like a villain, but then was actually, I think it's the brother of
Oh yeah, of Luna, right?
yeah, and
Brother
he has like
Luna.
this one cutscene where he's like a jackass, but then at the end he's like, oh, but I was on your side, and you're like, what? And then
Yeah.
apparently they added a few more cutscenes to explain that, and I never got that.
Yeah.
And then they made that chapter, I think it was chapter 13, they made it even more streamlined, and I was like, I didn't really get to experience that. I think I don't remember too well.
That was so weird. Just
that was a game.
That was a game. I just like felt like Square just fucked up, and they're like, all right, we had Tetsuya Nomura direct it. Already a huge problem. It's like 5 years wasted. Didn't create anything of value. We shift over, change the engine completely, go to a new director, and I was like, okay, it's gotta ship by this month. And they're like, well, fuck. And then just release the game, and it's like, oh, by the way, there's a fucking anime movie prequel sequel. Like, I'm like, dude,
What was it called? Kingsglaive?
yeah, God, oh yeah, and a multiplayer mode. God, Jesus
Oh
Christ.
my god, I forgot about that.
Me too. I just remembered. I was like, oh god, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Multiplayer that they added.
I never bothered with any of that, because obviously when I finished it, my time with that game was done. Very much done.
I heard it actually wasn't even that bad though. Like the multiplayer was like,
well,
yeah, it's pretty solid.
It's just unfortunate that it was to a game that had already a lot of stigma to it, negative stigma.
Yeah, but I still like 15 though. Mostly for the characters, the 4 bros. That's the only thing I will like actively. Oh, and also the summons were really cool. The summons were fucking sick. I appreciate that the summons were tied into the story.
I never really understood how to get them to be summoned, so
me neither. I didn't understand either, but when they did show up, I was like, hell yeah.
It was pretty damn cool, especially the first time I got a Titan to come through. I was like, what is happening? It was Thor or Rama.
Yeah. I had Titan come in during the final boss fight. It was insane.
What?
I was like, holy shit.
What? Okay, that's
like,
a cooler experience.
That was really cool. I had Leviathan show up like a few times.
What? I only had one summon. What?
Well, you definitely had to do like more post game stuff. Like not post game, but like where you go back and like do the extra dungeons. To get like the king's weapons.
Right.
Then you'll have like a higher chance to summon them.
Oh, fuck. Okay. That actually sounds...
Yeah.
Man.
there are some hard fucking bosses in that game. Especially the final dungeon.
I remember there was also the what was it? The flying car. I never got that. Oh yeah,
the flying car's cool.
They updated it so that you can actually fly around with your car, right?
Yeah.
Or like you're not stuck to the road and all that.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's a really good update. You should have done that to begin with.
Yeah, but you don't get the experience of like them having car talk.
Oh yeah, that's right. I still, to this day, my favorite conversation was, I think, between Gladiolus and Noctis, where Noctis catches a fish or something like that, and then he's like something about it, the size, and then Gladiolus is like, yeah, but what about your they comment about the penis sizes and all that stuff, and I was laughing so hard. I was like, that is the funniest shit. I love it.
I love the 4 bros.
Yeah,
keep it in down.
Right. But in terms, going back a bit to the Square Enix thing, the biggest thing that I obviously saw was the Project Athia, Forspoken.
Forspoken, yeah.
I realized that they had the Life is Strange remastered collection, but I never played those.
Me neither. They're very much like Telltale games, where it's like you're taking alongside a story, but I think you have much more of an influence, and it's not directly tied to an IP, so you don't have to worry too much about said IP. And I think they're better than the Telltale games because they took more time to create them in between, rather than Telltale, who kind of like churned them out without like fixing any of their massive issues. Like, so I mean they're quite popular, but I've also never been too into them.
Okay. I think that's like the biggest thing that they talked about. I'm looking and just like
they had like
Raider
Marvel
Definitive.
DLC, Tomb Raider.
Is that the Marvel game that like flopped?
Yeah, it flopped pretty hard, mostly because like it was trying to be a Destiny-esque game while also being a story-based game, and it just like threw the entire thing off. Which looks like the exact same problem that they're gonna do for that Outriders game.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm looking at it, I'm like, this looks like Destiny or / Borderlands. But no, we've got a huge in-depth story mode and everything. So I was like, so that sounds like the exact same problem as you had with the Avengers, where it was, we have this huge, massive story, but also because we want people to keep coming back and making it a gas, like also including a bunch of like dungeon crawler modes and like raid and stupid shit that like completely throw off the entire game.
Right. Fucking what is it? I was gonna god damn it. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Okay. So I guess we can move past the Square Enix bit then. I don't remember what it was. I fucking forgot. Yeah, never mind. So aside from that, I did want to talk a bit about video game music.
Yes, go ahead.
There's this guy, and his name is Alex Mukala, and he is very awesome. He initially he does like trailer music and stuff like that, very epic cinematic sounds. But lately, he's always loved video game music. He has done like weird things where it's just like, oh, the Dire Dire Docks song from Mario 64, but instead it's for Dark Souls. And that is actually really awesome, by the way. You should check that out at some point. He does something like that, but lately he's been playing his bass guitar a bit more recently, and with that he's been getting really funky. So he's been like reimagining or arranging some popular songs like from Final Fantasy VII and all that stuff, and he gets his like bass guitar and starts like making it funky and all that stuff. And the coolest thing that he did recently was he did this thing with the Wii. Was it the Wii Shop channel? No, was it the Wii? The Me song, the Me channel, the do 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 boo do do do, right? He did that. He made it really funky, but the coolest thing was that because of how much of a following he has and how well known he is, he was just like, hey guys, I did this. Here are the files of my recordings. Like, all you video game musicians out there, go at it. Like, have fun, and then like do your own, or like add on to it and stuff like that. So then one day on Twitter, I'm like seeing all these people that I really love, like insane in the Rain music, or video game music stuff. There's this guy named Family Jules, and Lena Rain, the person who composed music for Celeste, and so I forgot the name. Tiddlybits? No, not Tiddlybits.
Tiddlybits.
That was really bad. No, I don't remember their name. But they did the music for Sonic Mania. I forgot their name. But basically, at one point, he had like all these composers for video game music, and also all these video game music cover artists, all doing like participating in it, and it got so big to the point that people from Kotaku and Vogue, I think.
Interesting. Vogue.
Right? I think it was Vogue. I don't remember. Was it Vogue or The Wire? I don't remember. But they ended up like reporting about it, and it was awesome. And I was just like, that is so cool. And he's constantly, he did a new one that he released today where it's the Final Fantasy VII victory theme. And from
classic.
Yeah. And then he added Daft Punk, or he did like a Daft Punk thing to it. So it's really awesome, and I just really like that he's on a platform to this degree where he can like voice something and people will be able to hear it, but then like he's professing his love for video game music and getting more people involved, and I'm just like, that's so fucking awesome, and I really really appreciate it. You guys should definitely check him out. And also, he likes to give spotlight to other people who do the same thing that he does. So whatever he recommends, you guys should also check out, especially you, Ben. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk about that for a brief bit. He's really awesome. He's very friendly too. So yeah, aside from that, I wanted to move forward into anime and manga. Because I'm sure you have a lot to tell me about a certain anime that's going to be, or manga series that's going to be ending next month.
Yeah, Attack on Titan's almost over.
Right. And
Super. I mean, so far, like this entire last arc has been like a roller coaster. That's like, I was like, man, that shit is fucked up. I was like, that is. There's like so much stuff that like they've added, and like, I mean, I can't spoil it because I think there's a lot of people who are still watching the anime.
Oh right.
But this last arc, like this for the past couple of months, I'm like, dude, that is fucked up. I was like, and it's just like I'm watching this character do something just so like, I was like, wow. That's like, I was like, So, I mean, like, right now, it's unfortunate because Japan had an earthquake on Sunday.
Oh,
Luckily,
shit.
nobody was really hurt.
Okay.
So the most recent episode of Attack on Titan did not air. So they're gonna air both episodes back to back this upcoming Sunday. But there's a scene in this upcoming episode that I know is going to happen, and I was so desperately wanting to see what people say to it.
Is it what I think it is?
We should put a spoiler part. If when you're editing this, like around the 1 hour and 11 minutes
I'll just
mark,
bleep it
you
out.
have to put, yeah, or just cut it. So okay, spoiler warning. Right here.
Okay.
So there's a part where like, okay, so this is right at the point where the anime is about to happen, where the Erens, the Yeagerites, essentially the people who want to follow Eren and his decision to kill everybody else in the world, to protect their island is like, okay. I mean, I think originally it's just supposed to be against Marley, which is like, you know, the region that like discriminated them and essentially sent Titans to ruin their lives, which is just like understandable, like why Eren is very mad at them, right?
Right.
So there's this, like, his friends on the island are like, let's not do that. That's a bad idea. We should talk it out. And he said, no, fuck that shit.
The time for talk is over.
Talk is over. Time for war, right? And then they're like, I disagree with you. Like, and Mikasa is like trying to convince him. But you know, like Mikasa is like essentially in love with him. Like she's like, you know, I really think this is a dark path for you. And even the part where he attacks Marley, she even tells him, she's like, this is what I was like, I can't believe you did this. Don't you regret doing this? Because it's exactly what happened to us, right? He like goes to their island and like kills essentially a bunch of people and like ruins their lives.
Right.
And then Eren straight up tells her, I hate you, Mikasa. I hate you. I've hated you my entire life. You always clinging on to me. And the only reason you cling on to me is because you're an Ackerman, and apparently, for whatever reason, Ackermans will bond with a certain person and then protect them with their lives. And then he just fucking says that to her. And Armin's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then he's just like, I'm just telling you straight up, if you're not gonna follow me, then leave like immediately. And like that's the part right before that hasn't aired on the anime. And it's fucking so mean. And I'm like, I cannot believe you. It's like, what the actual fuck is wrong with you? Like, you were so fucking mean, right? She like carries that scarf with her whole life. She's protected you so many times, and you just tell her that you hate her. I was like, what? And so fucking brutal. And he fucking leaves and then proceeds to commit mass genocide and like straight up like murders like when because the whole thing is that like he has the ability to summon all the titans from the wall and cause a rumbling. Imagine just like thousands of colossal titans, right, just stomping through the world, and that's essentially what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like parts in the manga where you see these kids, they're oh, they're like they're just hanging out, right? They're just living their lives, and then across the sea, they see a huge steam cloud of fucking huge ass titans and a skeleton spider that's humongous, and it crushes them.
Oh.
Like he steps on them. Like he steps on. You see these kids get fucking murdered, and like it like goes to the next page, and this entire you just see a bunch of footprints across this country. There's like not even rubble, because they walk in rows essentially, and it's just an entire mass destruction wave. And he like just keeps walking, and like he even tells his friends like, if you want to stop me, you have to kill me. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Are you insane? Like, it's
Why
like
you
it would
like
be
this?
it would be one thing to do it against the Marlians, where I was like, all right, kind of understandable, right? They fucked your entire life up. They ruined everything for you. That's justifiable in some manner, right? Obviously, I would never want anybody to do that, but I was like, okay, that makes sense to an degree for his character. But when he's just stomping countries out of existence, it's
Right.
like, what are you actually doing here? Because his whole thing is like we're never gonna be free if people are out there thinking we're monsters, so we just gotta kill all of them. I'm like, that is a bad plan. That
is sound logic.
That is like that's what a sociopath says. Like, if somebody hates me, they gotta go. I'm like, well, maybe we don't do that. And so essentially, yeah. And now in the manga, finally Mikasa like kills him, right?
Right.
After this horrible part, like not only did she finally kill him, the fucking founding titan power was like, here's one extra fuck you to everybody. I'm gonna turn all the remaining Marleyan people into brainless titans. Like, after they thought they survived. They're like, oh my god, he finally got stopped. Oh wait, what's this releasing all this gas in the air? That's really weird. And then like it does that lightning spark, and it turns them into like brainless titans.
Oh, so
and
that's what happened.
Yeah, and it turns the rest of the remaining cast into titans, besides people who are already titans and the Ackermans. So like you see Jean and Connie, they're literally like, welp, I guess that's it for us. We did our best to save the world. I'm like, are you serious? I can't believe you. Like, why would you do that to me? And then you see them transform into titans. And I was like, dude, why?
Actually, I'm gonna go pull up that panel right now. I want to see it again.
It's so fucked. It's like, because literally Armin's like, because he like fights Eren's titan form, and he's like, dude, he's like, are you enjoying this? Is this what you want? Like, and he's just like, fine, like, I'll walk this hell with you, right? Because like he fights with him,
right?
And like, it's just like, oh my, I can't believe this, until Mikasa finally like beheads him,
right?
And like, there's this scene where like, she's like, it's kind of unclear, but I assume she's having this dream of what would have happened if she told Eren that he wanted him to stop.
If she
like,
had told him to stop.
That to stop earlier.
Right.
Like saying like, before he had gone to Marley to secretly invade them, if he had told her, I want to run away with you, I don't want to do this anymore, then their life would have been, he would have been like, okay, that's fine. He's like, okay. And then he leaves with her, and then she like, and then they live off in a farm somewhere for the rest of Eren's remaining life.
Right.
And she's like, I keep having this dream where everything goes wrong. essentially, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so fucking sad because like she finally like she has to kill him, and like obviously she like kisses his head
Yeah. I
after
remember
she's
that.
fucking beheaded him, and it's like so tragic, and it's just like, oh my god. And I'm like watching people on Twitter be like, man, I can't believe they would do that to Eren. I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck Eren. Fucking Eren like caused half this shit to happen, dudes. Like, this motherfucker like let everybody die. I'm just like, so that's why I'm like, that's why I'm saying don't simp for Eren Yeager because he's a fucking monster. This dude like fucking ruined like the world out of like, and that's why I'm saying like, especially rewatching the anime during certain parts, or even Gene's like, dude, you're crazy. Like you're like he has like he'll like actively like just do anything he can to kill the Titans, and it's like to the point where it's like this is like near suicidal, and then like he gets away with it because it's like, yeah, you know, the Titans are, you know, they're bad people, right? They kill us indiscriminately. There's no reason for us not to like hate them, right? Until you're like, oh wait, these are people, and then you got to deal with that part of your life, thinking, well, we've murdered all these people, and they have no choice. So
Yeah, while you're talking about it, I'm like rereading the few bits because I was confused about certain things because obviously I don't have the knowledge of the full series. But okay, now that bit hits a lot harder now when I see Jean and Connie just right. Oh damn, they're so grown up here. Holy shit.
yeah, they're so grown up.
They've gone
And
through
like
some shit.
they've gone through so much shit, and I was like, because before they finally stopped the giant spider, Eren,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh okay, they finally did that, right? And I was like, well, all right, well there you go. And then they're like, no, here's another fuck you. How about the author like double down to it's like, you thought they'd live foolish. I killed all of them. I was like, you're a monster. I was like, I'm amazed. I couldn't believe it. Usually I'm like this is too far, but I was like, I couldn't believe it. It's like, this is just unfucking believable.
So how do you think it's gonna end, by the way? Because what I'm getting is that the little dream bit, and then people connecting it to chapter 1 is like it's like this endless loop or something like that is what people are kind of theorizing. So I'm just like, that would be pretty
Oh, that would be
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be cool because the writing seems to be on point where he could legitimately do that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can
What
see
do you
that.
what do you think?
I think that yeah, it would make sense to be like an infinite loop because the whole power of the no, well, yeah, God, I hope not. Like but like the whole power of Eren's Titan is like the ability to see into the future, right? See into his Titan's form's future. So essentially and the past. So essentially whatever happens, you can see it in some manner or form. Like there's oh my god, there's another part in the manga where he like, because his power has the ability to look into the past and the future, he does this part where he convinces his dad to kill the royal family
Okay.
in the past, from the future into the past, and he like tells him like, because like he was planning on doing it, his dad was planning on doing it, but then he was like, this is fucked up, I'm not gonna do that, like this is like because the royal family were like, nah, we're just gonna let the Titans kill all of us, right? Like whatever, which sucks, but like that's what. And he was like, I'm gonna kill you for it. And then they're like, and then he's like, nah, I can't do that because like there's kids, right? Some of these people are kids, like they're kind of innocent, right?
Right.
And then Eren's like, no, kill them. And he's like, and so he kills them, and then he's just like, oh my god, it's like, and like Zeke is like, because like Zeke, like they're brothers, right? So Zeke was like, he hated like his dad, like, so he was just like, but he was like, he thought that his dad did everything on his own accord, but it turns out Eren was the one that kind of influenced him. to make these decisions.
Oh, what?
And it's like, and you're like, holy like what the fuck? Like he did that, and it's like there's another part where the previous person before the Attack Titan, before he gives it to Eren's dad, literally it was like, you have to eat me because like to gain my Titan form. Otherwise, how can I save Mikasa and Armin? And this is in the past before Eren's dad even has had Eren.
What the fuck?
And then his dad's like, who's Mikasa and Armin? And the guy's like, I have no idea. I don't know why I said that. And it's like, has Eren's been secretly like manipulating things from the future?
Oh my god.
It's like amazing. It's like a fucking 4D chess shit, dude. It's so good. It's like, how the fuck?
No wonder you've been wanting me to get there.
Yeah, because there's another part where like, because the first chapter is in the first episode name is like to you 2,000 years in the future. Oh. And so there's this part where the founding Titan, who is like this fucking innocent girl,
right,
who just like gains the power of the Titans coincidentally, and she's like essentially trapped by the royal family to constantly create Titans for the rest of her, like even while dead she must create Titans. And so she's like entrapped by like this royal family, and then there's a part where Eren's like, she's about to follow this one order. I don't want to spoil this part because it's a very good part. It involves a lot of different characters. It involves a lot of different characters. But remember that meme? You know that meme is like, don't you want to go crazy? Don't you want to go nuts? Right?
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. It's like, you're like, don't you want, like, he's like, I got your message. He's like, you wanted freedom, right? You don't want to do this anymore. I got your message 2,000 years in the future. I'm like, oh my god, like this dude's a fucking genius. He wrote this at the very beginning. I was like, I can't believe this motherfucker wrote this from page 1. He's like, I got this shit. And he just,
that's insane.
It's so fucking good. And it's like, I can't believe it. Like I was just like blown away. I was like, I've never seen this before in writing ever. I mean, I haven't like seen other like really big epic mangas like Berserk or anything.
Right.
And that's not even like close to being done. But it's just like, that's like some fucking 5D chess where you're just like, dude, I've been playing you idiots from the very beginning. It's like you like, oh my god, it's so stupidly good. I was like, god, I can't believe they did this. Essentially,
you are doing a good job of selling me right now.
It's so good. Like, I would say, watch the anime up until it's done, right? Essentially, and then just they don't finish the manga, if they don't finish it up to the last arc, just read the manga because it's just so good. And the anime like cuts out some of the really boring parts, like the political era arc, which was like garbage and took forever, and like. You get past the boring Marley parts where they try to make you feel all sympathetic, but it fucking doesn't work because, like, but in the manga it was way worse and took way longer. So yeah, honestly, amazing. He nails it in terms of like how it all bleeds together.
God, that's solid writing.
God, I cannot wait for the last chapter. Because he already drew the last page like 2 years ago, and then he like released it on Twitter. He's like, "This is the last page, by the way."
Wait, what? Where is it?
It's just like it's like mostly like kind of a like sketch appearance. It looks like more of a sketch style, but it's like somebody looking out into the ocean with like a baby in their arms. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like, who could that be? Like,
maybe
I'm like,
oh, dude.
And there's no dialogue either, so I'm like, oh my god. Like, what?
Shivers, chills, literal chills.
Literal chills. But it's genuinely super good. Like a lot of people like say like is Attack on Titan really like the best like series ever? I gotta say, it's so far. I'm fucking blown away by how good this writing is.
You are fucking selling me right now in this.
It is good, dude. I hope you eventually get to it because that final arc is 100% worth it. Unless you're one of those guys that be like, oh, I'm sad my main ship didn't happen or my.
Nah, I don't give a shit about that, dude. I'm
Yeah.
here for the narrative.
Yeah, it's astounding, and I cannot wait for the last month of this entire series to just end.
It's coming out
like,
next month in the 7th. You said, right? 13th.
Yeah, okay. I think people said the 9th. I don't actually know, but like that's when it is. And I'm like, well, end of a fucking era. I started this freshman year in college, and I'm gonna end it 27 years old. I'm like, this series is taking 9 years of my life. I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
You're saying that the anime is gonna end when the manga ends, right?
I have no idea because apparently, this week's episodes are gonna be the last episodes for the anime for this season. So I don't know if they're planning on doing
like that movie
another
thing we
season
talked about?
or dude, if it's a fucking movie, dude, I need to like clip that and be like,
we called it first.
write this in the books of time. I'm gonna post this everywhere. I'm like, if Jairus and I are correct and it ends in a fucking movie, someone give me $1,000.
Right? Oh man, I feel like they might. They will probably do that.
Yeah, I mean, Demon Slayer has an entire arc in a movie,
which is insane.
and it's made millions of dollars.
Like, oh shit! If they do a movie, it will probably top that because of how narratively exemplary it's been so far.
Yeah.
All right, I don't feel like that was the right word. It's been, yeah. Anyways, so I guess I'll just what I can do is just watch everything up until the last episode they release, and then I'll just read the chapter and then watch whatever thing they make. So
yeah, because like honestly, I'm so happy that I get to I'm watching the anime with Sydney because I had like stopped because I was like, I don't really want to watch the anime because I was like, I'm already reading the manga.
Right.
But boy, oh my god, the art is so much better in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
This manga art's like fucking ugly. Some of these characters look the same. Well, like, oh god. I was like, I don't know who is who right now.
It's kind of hard to depict what's happening in certain scenes.
Yes.
Because obviously, but this is also piggybacking off the fact that I haven't been reading any of it. Seeing that smoke thing that you mentioned, I didn't realize that they were referring to that, and then that this thing messed them up or turned them into Titans. I just remember seeing the Jean and Connie, and they're just like there one scene, and then for some reason the next I was like, wait, why are they Titans now? And I'm just like, right. After you explained it, I was like, that makes a lot more sense.
Right, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's like even Connie is like, oh man, that's what I was like. Why does it smell like the smoke back in my village? Right? I'm like, you mean that thing that happened like in the first season? Oh, I mean, they explain it again back in this season of the anime because it has relations to something. But I was just like, dude, that's a fucking callback from way back when. That shit's insane.
That's all right.
It's good, dude. You will not regret it.
The thing that sucks is that obviously because of my current situation where I kind of like go back to the other house, there's nothing there but my books, table, the amenities, and then a sleeping bag for me to sleep in.
You have your phone? Can you just read it on your phone?
I do have my phone, but the thing is the connection is like 4G.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, there's no Wi-Fi there, so I'm just like, what I'm thinking of doing right now is like, maybe I could just download all the chapters and just put it onto my phone and read it that way. But then I'm just like, there's nothing compiled in like up to the very current thing, and I'm just like, fuck, well, whatever, I'll find out. Maybe I'll try to read it, we'll see. But when I was trying to read manga, I think 2 nights ago, it was not happening.
Yeah.
I was so upset.
You need like a tablet at least to like read it properly.
No, it was just like it wasn't loading the pages. The connection there is just so bad. It's 4G, and it sometimes decides whenever it wants to be 5G. And I'm just like, was it always this bad? I was like, well, we did always have Wi-Fi, so
yeah.
But I'm legitimately sold on what you're saying in terms of Attack on Titan, because there's been a lot of hype developing with it. Like a lot of people that I talk to, they're just like, "Oh, you haven't been like catching up on Attack on Titan? There's like so much going on." And I'm like, "Well, eventually I'll get down." And then obviously I spoiled myself for the last thing because I was like, "Is it really?" And people mentioning how the writing has been really solid and cohesive for the most part. I'm just like, "Oh shit, that's like that sells it. That's great." And then hearing your like last push, I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to figure out my situation with trying to read it or watch it because, God, hearing everything. Plus, I hope that they do that because there's that movie that compiles everything from like the first season, right? And I think you were mentioning that it was only for the first season. Unfortunately, I wish it was like a movie recapping everything from first, second season, third season up until this current season.
Yeah,
but maybe that's not gonna happen anytime soon. I now see the blessing in recap movies.
Yeah, right.
So
except for in Gurren Lagann, where that it worked against it.
That never needed it, unless
it was like short. Yeah,
I mean, there's like some benefit where they like redid a fight scene and made it better, but for the most part, there's literally I don't feel like it was necessary. Yeah,
hell no, dude.
God damn it,
dude. Sydney did not appreciate how fucking cool Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is. Like, because it just gets fucking owned in the movie, and then you're like, oh right, because we made another form.
Yo.
Yeah, pure spiral energy, which is cool. There's no doubt that's insanely awesome, but it's also like, this doesn't look. I was like, man, you're making Tengen Toppa look fucking lame. Like, when he just gets owned.
Okay, wait, hold on real quick. It's funny that Sydney didn't like it because I was talking to another one of my friends and she's become a really good friend of mine. And I talked about Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann and she was like, is that the show about the mech and like the do you know who I am kind of thing? And I was like, yeah, it's hella good. And she's like, I hated that anime. I was like, really? And then she and her friends that I also know, they were talking about it for a bit, and then they were also like, yeah, I didn't really like it that much either. I was like, is this a thing? Do girls just not like it?
Do girls not like giant mecha anime about the spirit of humanity? Is it because the main girl only wears a bikini and short shorts? Right. How dare you?
Which I was like putting those together. I was like, this is kind of funny. I thought the what is it? The connection there was uncanny. But yeah. I suppose. Well, not I suppose. I will legitimately start up on Attack on Titan sooner than later, especially because it's coming. It's like reaching its peak, and then also ending. The greatest thing. What was that?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the greatest thing for me to hear in terms of starting a series is that it's already done.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, it's over. This is fine.
Because more often than not, I start a manga series and I'm just like, oh shit, this is so interesting, and then I see incomplete and I'm like, fuck.
Oh yeah.
I gotta wait for releases and I'm like, god damn it. So that's why I really appreciate it when a series is already complete or near complete, because then I get to have that full on, that ending. Everything ends. So this is definitely the last kick I needed. In terms of like anime and manga, I haven't really been doing much. I actually, even the mangas that I've been reading, I put a pause to for the longest time. It's been like a few, like I haven't caught up on Kaguya yet.
Oh my god.
Since the last time.
Holy fuck.
The last Kaguya chapter I think I read was chilling.
I can't believe you didn't.
I'm so sorry, man. Like I just haven't.
I can't believe you. it's legit. The last chapter, I was like, you can do that? And I was like, oh my god. I was like, finally.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Well then that sounds good. I think what's that?
You haven't gotten spoiled? I'm surprised you did not get that part spoiled for you.
No. I have like probably 4 or 5 chapters to catch up on. I think 3 or 4. I think. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll probably read after this.
I don't think there's a chapter this week either. It's like...
Oh, maybe I'll wait until next week.
I was like, oh my! I can't believe they did that thing.
Did that thing? Okay, good that you didn't spoil it. Yeah, I haven't been reading or watching anything. There are some anime that came out this season that I'm curious about watching. There's one called Horimiya, which I read a long time ago, so that getting an anime adaptation was pleasant surprise for me. And then also Wonder Egg Priority, which I don't know if I like. I just remember some people recommending it because it's like pretty heavy hitting, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the mood for something pretty heavy. And also the animation for it looks gorgeous, so I'm very keen on seeing that. Manga wise, just reading my rom-coms and all that stuff. I did recently, really recently, like today, see a spoiler for My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah, don't say anything. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, okay.
Because the chapter hasn't been translated yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. I literally saw the last panel and then somebody explained it, and I was like, what is happening in this series right now? So
honestly, the last couple of chapters and that big reveal kind of sucked. I was like, eh.
Oh.
I did not enjoy it at all. I was like, it felt like a huge, like, we need to make a reason why this series has to continue, and it sucked.
Oh, like, God. Is it becoming a Bleach?
No, it's not like that. That was worse, where Bleach had an ending and they kept going.
Mm-hmm.
This is like... it reminds me of, like, in Shippuden, where Naruto finally finds Sasuke, and then Sasuke fucking leaves, and then you're like, he just gets out. I'm like, oh, that kind of, like, blows, because it's a huge, like, what have I been building up to? I've been building up to this huge clash between these two friends. They finally go, and then Sasuke whoops the shit out of them and then leaves. I'm like, wow, great. Like, fucking fantastic. Thanks for, like, man, we spent all this time. We spent all this time trying to get to this big part, and it's like, shit sucks now. Here's this realization about this character that everybody fucking knew. You'd have to be stupid not to know who this character actually was. Like, who else shoots fire? I don't know. Oh, like, oh no, now this is making everyone turn against the heroes, which I was like, that's kind of an interesting concept. But like the whole fights in between, before that, I'm like, oh no, I know what they're doing. They're gonna make it so we can't win yet. I'm like, no, we're right here. We're at the finish line. And you were like, no, another 5 more years. It's like, come on. It's like, we're at the finish line. You could just stop right now. That's all. I was like, oh my god.
Okay, maybe you might not like the revelation that happens in the next chapter then.
I don't know, because I'm already like gotten past that part where I'm like, oh, great, okay, here we go. Let's just see what comes next is where I'm at right now. I mean, they can't be as bad as Promised Neverland ended.
Oh,
that
God.
was just fucking shit.
That
was fucking terrible.
I've been hearing a lot about the anime as well, the second season, where they literally doing, I think you mentioned it before, that, or it's one of my friends, they're just talking about how it's like, what is it, cutting content and doing something new?
Yeah, they skipped an entire arc that was probably the most brutal, epic arc in that entire series, and then they fast forwarded to the time skip arc, which sucks. Boy. It's honestly like so boring, and it's like they try to introduce these like characters and try to make it seem like, oh, the demons aren't as bad as you think, after like watching them slaughter these characters for the past like couple of chapters, and then they're like, maybe they're not so bad after all. That kind of bullshit. It's like, God, you are the worst. I was like, it's like, let's have no intelligent conversations. Let's just always stay neutral. It sucked. It's so garbage.
Fuck, man. The only reason why I was hearing a lot about the Promised Neverland or that second season is because of the content, and also because one of my friends, she was just like, she loves this one person that ends up showing, and it's like a butler, I think. Is it a butler? I don't remember. Yeah, then she's like, that's like my husbando, and he's not even there. I'm like, I fucking can't with you right now. Don't
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, just stop right this instant.
I'm not interested in your garbage characters.
I don't need to hear about your husbandos and waifus and shit like that. I already do that on my own time. Yeah, so that's generally literally all it for anime and manga. I've been very interested. Oh, actually, JJ, my youngest brother, sometimes when I visit, he ends up like, hey dude, you gotta watch this scene from Boruto, and I'm like, all right, fine, show me. So I see certain things, and I'm just like, oh shit, the animation's actually really fucking good here. And then also I'm kind of keen and curious on what's happening there, and I hate it because it's like, it's slowly pulling me in, and I'm just like, I already had Naruto, I don't need Boruto. But do you care? You're not really caught up on that, right?
I have actually been. I'm caught up on Boruto up to that arc and past it with the manga, and they have a really big problem with that series going forward. Ooh. It's super bad.
I'm curious about that actually. So where I'm at is it's literally just the anime, because JJ just showing me what's going on there, and then
so you see that dude. You see what's his name? He fights that ergot motherfucker.
I don't remember, but he has one of the cooler Naruto designs in my opinion, or like character designs in general.
Yeah.
I think it's cool where they're going. Like, I mean, JJ's like, oh yeah, they nerfed Naruto and Sasuke. I'm like, well. That, I mean,
they have to.
Yeah. If they want to make these kids the light, or like the stars, they kind of have to do that. So I'm curious, what's the problem going forward with the series?
The problem is that these Naruto and Sasuke got nerfed and are still the best, strongest characters in this entire franchise. I'm like, this is like I mean, I don't want to spoil it if you're watching the anime, because it could spoil it further for you.
I mean, I'm only watching it whenever I go over and JJ's like, oh dude, look at this cool thing, and then I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just watch the whole episode. But the thing is that I am kind of getting slowly invested in it, because he's like, oh yeah, the big bad is the big bad behind the big bad from the first one.
Yeah, which is like, okay.
Right, and I was like, that's kind of dumb.
Yes, it is dumb, and it causes, this is what I'm saying is the problem. If the big bad could only be defeated by these two final characters, right, in your entire franchise,
right,
and they're still there, right? It's not like they died or anything, or have a serious cancer which they can no longer fight. But now, like, the character is like, they're too strong. It's like, all right, because our characters are not at that level yet. So how do you introduce a bad guy that could only be defeated by these Sasuke and Naruto, and then expect Boruto to actually do something? Because he's like, you have to essentially, you need to make a reason why Boruto is the one who defeats them and not Sasuke, right, and Naruto. So it's like, you just get to this part in the series where it's just like, I feel like this is not Boruto's story, but more Boruto, Naruto, and Sasuke, and then the other characters are completely irrelevant again. It's like Dragon Ball Super, right?
Oh god.
Every character is completely irrelevant besides Goku and Vegeta. Everyone else fucking sucks. They don't do anything. They're worthless. That is the problem that Boruto has in the future, because it's just like, if the only main bad guy is gonna be the top tier characters, and everyone else is useless yet again, and so you're just gonna run into that same problem, which sucks, because it's pretty cool, like the concept, but it's also like this you kind of fucked yourself with the story on this one.
Kind of fucked yourself. Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say ninja tech stuff is kind of interesting,
right?
But then they also, at the same time, introduce alien thingies again. So I'm like, okay, I guess.
I what was it for it? I just really like. I guess it was just that episode where I really liked, because of the animation and like seeing the fight scenes and how they fight now. Although when JJ was explaining a few things in terms of like the bigger bad behind Kaguya, I was like, that's Okay, I'll be honest. I think it's stupid, but I think it's okay. I mean, for the sake of going on further in that story, for Boruto, I'm like, okay, I guess. Um, Hearing that Naruto and Sasuke are nerfed, I'm curious to see how they want to, or how they will move forward. But then hearing what you're saying, I'm just like, I guess, yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Wait, do you know how they got nerfed in the manga? Did JJ tell you?
Oh, yeah, the big Kurama, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly happened, but I guess he just
okay.
I mean, if it's not you, it's JJ who's gonna spoil me. So I think nothing against my youngest brother, but I do prefer how you explain things. So if you don't mind, please tell me what happened to Kurama.
So they're like, all right, now you have to fight the big bad, because if he gets to a certain character, it's over. So they're like, okay, so now we gotta throw in Naruto and Sasuke again to stop to stop the final solution, essentially. And it's like, oh fuck, this dude's hella strong and is stronger than Naruto and Sasuke. So we gotta introduce how can Naruto stop him, right? He already has like his final form. Like, joke's on you, here's another final form that is also super strong, right? But instead, this form is ultimate risk, which was weird because that's how his original things were like, right? It's just like, okay. It's like, if you use, it's the whoopsie, I like to call it the whoopsie shonen power-up, where it's like, whoops, this is a really strong power-up at the cost of my life or whatever I need, right?
Right.
Like, extremely damaging to my health or friends. Every shonen does this nowadays, so I'm like, all right, whatever. So this is the only way he can stop him, and it's a form that like essentially sacrifices the lifespan for ultimate power. So he uses it, barely survives, and ultimately like he loses Kurama because of that. But mostly because Kurama lies to him and says, "Oh yeah, if you used it, I would have died, or I would have disappeared. But I knew you'd say no if you knew that."
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I didn't say anything. And so it's like, first off, that's super sweet of the Demon Fox. I was like, wow, that's a very hero moment of his character. Mm-hmm. I thought the goodbye was kind of flaccid. I felt like that could have been. I felt like that could have been a little bit more emotional, but they just did not do that the way that. Like, okay, and then they just stab Sasuke in the eye. Okay. His renegade eye.
Yeah,
I'm just like.
That's what JJ.
Yeah, it was like trending on Twitter because everyone's like, "Are you fucking serious? You could just do that? You just stab him right in the eye, and it's all over for him." Just like, why didn't anyone else stab this dude in the eye? Like, it's fucking like, are you fucking kidding me? This is how you lose your ultimate power because fucking Boruto accidentally stabs you in the eye. Whoops, our bad.
Wait, Boruto was the reason why?
You'll see why, okay. But it's just like. What? It's like Naruto has this big send-off moment, right? It's like, oh man, fuck. It's like man, that fucking blows. Stab. I was like, what? It's like, are you serious? Like, I can't believe what the fuck is going on, and why is this? It's like, this is so stupid in terms of like emotional impact. In terms of like, that's like watching like Superman get fucking like poked with kryptonite and just losing all his powers. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is what stopped one of our greatest heroes? It's fucking stupid. I was like, God damn it, dude. Yeah, I was just blown away in terms of how dumb that moment was. I was like, I don't understand how this is happening, but now the manga is at a part where it's like, what do you do now? And I'm like, okay. I was like, interesting, but I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
Now, ironically, now in the manga where it's like, okay, finally time for Boruto to shine because we had to nerf our characters. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh boy.
I don't know. It's kind of because you and me, we both kind of we had our talks about Naruto when it was nearing its end and all that. So we obviously had our fill of it. And initially, when they announced the Boruto thing, we both were kind of like scoffing at it because we kind of had our fill. But I'm also pretty, not gonna lie, kind of curious about how Boruto will continue because it obviously is sort of a fan service for us because we see our grown-up versions of the people we've watched and grew up with continue being in a story. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is that that's surprisingly another one of the series that I'm kind of getting more inclined to catch up on, as opposed to other ones that are just like or not one shots necessarily, but like these rom-coms that I get recommended from r/manga. So yeah, it basically it's not like this is a mainstream type of manga as opposed to the other ones that I've been reading. So I'm genuinely curious to get a bit up into that because JJ has been like literally he's like, oh yeah, Boruto's getting good and look at this really cool fight scene there. And I'm just like, okay, that is actually really dope. I really did like that fight scene. They did some really cool. They did some really cool stuff like one of the attacks that the cool design character does, it has cubes in like the particle effect, and I'm like, what? That's sick. And the explosion that happened because of the dude's like he like can't control his power, I guess, or no, he just like unleashed too much. The explosion looked really sick, and I'm like, holy crap. Also in that particular episode, I really did like the voice acting that was delivered by the guy who was about to die. I was like, oh my god. I was like, wait, shit, it's really fucking dark right now. Like the guy's literally groveling for his life, and then the guy's like, too bad, and then it just ends him, and the way he goes out, I'm just like, oh shit, that's literally just half of his body. I'm like, they would not have shown this in the beginning of Naruto when it was airing, but now we're getting it full on, and I'm just like, that's cool.
He's very much a Vegeta, while Boruto is like Goku. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good like analogy character wise.
Yeah, because that part reminds me of when Vegeta blows up Android 19, when he like rips off the android's arms and then the robot's like running away.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And then he's just like, any final words, and then the robot's like, no, and then he's like, too bad, and then like big bang attack and like blows him up as he runs away. It's like, oh fuck.
Yo, I'm sorry, but anytime anybody references Dragon Ball Z now, I default to abridged version, because that's like the definitive edition for me. So when you were saying that, I'm just like remembering, I'm like, did he say that? I swear he said something else. And I'm trying to remember the TFS version's dialogue and all that.
Oh yeah, I remember Team 4 Star's like, did he call his attack Big Bang Attack? He's like, yeah, you're a loser.
Yeah, the dialogue there is just too good. I've been a bit more keen on trying out One Piece, but that's obviously
hell fucking no. Don't watch One Piece.
That's cooking up.
How dare you watch One Piece over JoJo, a series actually has finished arcs, and you're just like, no, I wanted walk down the longest mile of my life.
Yo, okay, wait. My roommate has actually been getting me a bit more into the JoJo's thing again. Because we were talking about it recently, and then I was just like, if I get into this, Ben will be like very fucking happy.
There are 5 parts that are finished. You're like, I'm glad when a series is done. There's 5 animes that are fucking finished, and it's like a part 6 coming soon, and you're just like, no, One Piece, a series that has no end in sight.
Yo, but they're also saying that has good writing, where they do callbacks to certain things that have happened in previous arcs, and I'm just like, that's cool. That's also alluring
like,
to me.
Thousands of hours in, I'm at the point where I'm reading One Piece. I don't even fucking remember this. Like, I have to Google like what is going on. Like, I have a well, I have a friend at PlayStation who tells me about arcs that was like 4 arcs ago. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Who is this again? It's wild, dude. I'm like reading the arc, and I'm like, how long has this arc been going for? It's insane. I was like, this arc's been like insane. I mean, it's been good, but I'm also like, damn, this shit fucking long. While at the same time, I'm reading JoJo, and I'm like, this arc's been going on for an entire fucking year. It's the same fight because this shit releases monthly.
Holy shit.
Dude, oh my god. Let me just tell you, this character's fucking stand is the most bullshit, unbelievable garbage I've ever read. I was like, not in terms of it sucks, but in terms of that's powerful. Fucking ridiculous. Its entire ability is that if you chase after this dude, bad shit will just start coming at you. Like, this character is like wants to chase him down, and a fucking airplane door is flying from the sky about to hit her. This one, he's been chasing him in this fucking hospital, and the asbestos in the ceiling got into his fucking eyes. I'm like, dude, this lady, she sees him, and she's like, who the hell is that? And she's chopping vegetables with her knives, and then the knife accidentally cuts her finger because she starts chasing after him. I'm like, how the actual fuck are you supposed to stop that? Because if you try to hit it, it's so hard to get close to him and hit him because you're constantly getting fucked by everything else in the series.
I think,
and there's literally the main character, the main JoJo. Someone tells him, this power that you have breaks the rules of reality. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, dude. This is the only way you can beat him, is by shooting this motherfucker right in the face with this. It's amazing. So unbelievable. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna comment. I was just like, the guy, the Araki, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy is like probably one of the most creative and imaginative people ever, because literally he's making villains out of something so creative, and then it's still working. Like, how do you get that? Where if you're chasing a guy, how do you set up an entire like plot arc or something like that, a villain arc with somebody who gets chased and then their power automatically kills or injures people that are chasing after him? I'm just like, what? Like, I don't know. For me, it just boggles my mind that he's able to come up with all these, because it's not the first time that I've heard about different stand powers from this guy. Like, I've heard from you and another person back in university that I used to hang out with, who would always talk about like how ridiculous some of these stands could be. So I'm just like, this guy Araki is like fucking amazing.
Yeah. Even Sydney, who's like not a huge like fighting into like shonen type animes, says like, when we were watching Demon Slayer, she was just like, watching this, I'm pretty impressed that in JoJo how he writes characters' combat abilities and how you just work around it. Because we were watching Demon Slayer, and she's like we're watching this part where he's at this fight. She's like, how the fuck is he gonna beat this dude? He has legit no other abilities left. And I'm like, oh, I'll just pull out some random bullshit that he had inside him the entire time. Mind you, I didn't watch the series. Like, I had never watched Demon Slayer. And then he pulls out this thing that he's like, oh yeah, his dad taught him in the past. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? You had that the entire time? Like, yeah, of course. He had this, it was taught to him in the past by his dad in this other breathing style. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's like I've spent like 15 episodes with this kid and his water style sword, and it's like, no, fire style out of nowhere. Nobody. I'm like, dude, and she's like, how did you know that was gonna happen? I was like, that's just shonen. Yeah, you just showed it, and you just watch stupid bullshit happen, like, because you're like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. He'll probably pull out some random bullshit, and that's just how it'll be. And it's how it is in like Jujutsu, at least in Jujutsu Kaisen, they were just like, we set that up day one, like with Naruto. It's just like, yeah, he's got a tail beast in him. Whatever, day one power up.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Oh yeah, are you liking Demon Slayer, by the way? I remember you were going through it and you were like, it's kind of good.
It's kind of good. I respect the fact that they put so much time into his training,
Right.
and that, because I'm realizing watching Jujutsu Kaisen where I was just like, man, so many series just don't bother with showing how much hard work they put into it, and I kind of miss that. Like the maximum effort, like how Goku would have to like train in like 100 times gravity.
Yeah. In the hyperbolic time chamber.
Hyperbolic time chamber. Like, I miss that. Like, I remember when Naruto was learning the wind element and he had to fucking train against a waterfall.
Oh, I
and
do
like
remember that.
I'm like, oh man, that part's like, I love that part. Like, I was just like, and I'm just like, oh, I really appreciate how much effort they put into him, like learning stuff. It's okay. I think it's like, it's pretty solid. Like, it's a pretty solid shonen. I think it's extremely overrated though. People made it seem like it was the fucking next coming of like best shonen anime, and I watched it. I was like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's pretty solid. It wasn't awful. I was like, eh. Like, watching Jujutsu Kaisen though, I feel like when I watch Jujutsu Kaisen, it has much more fun with the series,
Right.
but in a different way. Like, I still like it. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen is more like the characters are much more interesting and have more personalities than Demon Slayer, where I feel like Demon Slayer is like, I feel like characters are very almost one note.
Okay.
Like, what's the lightning guy's name? Zenitsu?
Okay, I couldn't tell you, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, I fucking hate him. Like, he is the actual worst. I was like, he's constantly screaming about like how he can't do something, and like that he's scared and he wants someone to save him. And I was like, okay, that's like the first fight for him, right? I was like, okay, great, cool, whatever. But then he just kept doing it, and then I'm like, but when he falls unconscious, he's extremely strong. So I'm literally watching this fight. I'm just, and he's just constantly running, and I'm like, I just want to get this over with. Just fall unconscious unless you're gonna do something. Like,
right.
You're, like, because that's just his entire character. I'm like, if that's your entire character thing and you have nothing else, then why are you wasting my time watching this guy run away and be silly? Not that it's not funny to a certain extent, but it's like, also like, I'm just gonna wait until you get to this part and then instantly win. I was like, okay, whatever. And it's like, so I really didn't like his character at all. And like, and like some of the other characters, I was like, okay. Like the oh my god, the spider villain and the introduction of like every character has to have every villain has a tragic backstory, dude.
It's like all over again.
I was like, dude, every character has a tragic backstory, right? So it's very similar to Naruto, right? But it's every character, because, I didn't want to become a demon, right? This Michael Jackson motherfucker injects me with demon blood, and then you become a demon. And so, like, I'm like, all right, this motherfucker's been owning all our characters for so long. What's your tragic backstory? Let me hear it. And I'm just like, because, like, they can't stop being evil, apparently. Okay. So I was like, okay, like you're just gonna be evil no matter what. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of one note, where I'm like, I'm waiting for this dude to die so I can learn his tragic backstory. It's like the most ridiculous thing ever. It's like, I can't believe like this is like a thing. And in the beginning I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. But then they kept doing it, and so I was like, okay. Yeah, so I was like, okay, all right, what's your story? What's your deal? What's this dude's deal? What's her deal? Oh, I'm so sad because it was this blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. It was just like, okay.
Okay,
but it's still not bad, though.
You finished it all? Like, the entire...
I finished the entire anime. Okay.
So that means you saw that one specific episode that everybody got all, like, really big about. I think it was 18. episode 18,
Yes.
where they introduced the animation, like really good animation with fighting the spider web person or something like that.
Yes.
Because that was when everybody was like recommending. They're like, "Yo, watch Demon Slayer. You're gonna really like episode 18." And I'm like, "What about the rest of it?"
Yeah. That's okay. See, that's the exact part where I say he's gonna pull out his stupid anime shonen power out of nowhere. That's that exact episode where I'm like, it's visually, it's amazing, and I'm 100% impressed with what they did.
Yeah.
But I was also like, this is that moment now, because I was like to Sydney, there's two scenarios. He gets saved by his Kakashi-esque character,
Right.
or he pulls out his shonen power. Right? And either one of those things could have happened, but and then I was like, it was literally a coin toss. I was like, all right, what's gonna happen, Sydney? And she's like, and then I was just like, oh, he was shonen powers. I was just like, oh yeah. I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I was just like, okay, I guess we'll see where that goes. And then every episode after that fucking sucks and is hella boring.
Oh no.
It's like so boring. It's like the training arc, essentially. Another training arc.
Right.
And then this anime ends, and it's like, now you gotta watch the movie. I'm like, you ended your season on training arc. Like, who does that? No one fucking does that ever. I'm like, why would I want to watch this stupid training arc for so long? I was like, oh crap, you're serious? Because I was like, this can't end like this, right? And there's like 4 episodes of training. I'm like, no, oh my god, nothing's happening.
Shit. Dude,
So I respect the first 3 episodes for focusing on training, but when you're gonna end on training, kind of a problem where I'm like, this is super unexciting. I kind of felt like I could have just skipped these past 2 last episodes and be like, I think I would have been at the same exact spot.
yeah, you're not doing a good job on selling me to watch it. I think I'm actually.
To be honest, I wouldn't recommend it either.
Okay, all right, that's perfectly fine with me. I think I'm fine with missing out on this one.
Yeah, I would recommend Jujutsu Kaisen if you want to watch a shonen, because that's like entertaining to a level.
Yeah, JJ was telling me that the animation for it is pretty awesome.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Wait, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Jujutsu Kaisen like is very much the opposite in terms of Demon Slayer, where they just go fast. They don't give a fuck. Like in terms of like, which sacrifices, unfortunately, character development. Where right now, where I'm like, fuck, characters are kind of like, I'm kind of like
flat.
I wouldn't say flat. Although I guess that might be the word for it better. They are kind of like one-dimensional.
Right.
So I was just like, okay, well, I guess we'll see who does what. But it's entertaining, combat and visual wise.
I just don't know anymore in terms of like watching anime. I don't know what will pull me. Like if fucking one time I'll be watching like a scene with JJ and for Boruto, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then or I'll watch my roommates watching One Piece. And I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of interesting. Or maybe I don't know, I'll see a scene from an anime. I'm like, that looks really beautiful. I'll watch it. Like one direct priority. So I have no clue what I like anymore aside from the fact that I know animation's a thing. The music obviously has to be good, and if it has a really good narrative, then boom, I'm there.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, One Piece, only the current season looks really nice.
Yeah.
Before it's fucking ugly.
I think that's when they started dropping their budget on it, like putting all their budget. Toei Animation, right?
Shueisha. Oh yeah, no, it is Toei.
Right. They're just like, yeah, we're they're like really big, aren't they? So they have the money to do it. Yeah. So I guess they're at the point.
Have the money, but it's like when you have a weekly episodes, it's like you're gonna run out of money real fast.
Right. Huh. Yeah, I don't know then, because I know for a fact that a lot of animators don't actually get paid the right amount that they should be getting paid. That's unfortunate. Yeah. But I don't want to digress into that topic. I want to start ending it in the term. Or start ending the podcast by ending off on what games we're playing and talking about those.
Yeah.
So, let's let's move on to that. And I'm just gonna say that I'm not actually playing that many games. It's literally.
What happened to Atelier Rising?
I finished that.
You finished?
Atelier
Oh,
Rising
you
2.
didn't say anything.
Oh, really?
Finishing. No.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay, my bad. So
that's why I was just like, oh, I'm curious to see what you're playing because I thought you were still playing that. All right,
no, okay. So I finished it, and I don't know, man. I love the gameplay, and I love that I got to see my characters again in there. But the story in it this time, it was good. But then at the end, it just like it didn't feel that well ended, I guess. It just like so you do something good, and then the character like ends up leaving, and then you from there on you say goodbye to everybody because everybody's moving on to the next point of their life, and you're just like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, I guess I could appreciate it for like how some things like that can happen in real life, like like you do something, it ends, and then when things that you're involved with other people also ends at that time, you say your farewells, and then you just move on with life again. I guess I can take it like that, but for in a gameplay narrative kind of, or in a game narrative sort of way, expecting the unexpected or just the flights of fancies, I'm just like, this is a lackluster ending in my opinion. So I just felt like there could have been more to it, but I can appreciate that I still got to play again with the characters there. There doesn't seem to be a lot of end game content either too when it comes to like, I think in the end game content there's like one optional boss. That boss is like stupidly hard. Like I attempted fighting it because I like crafted some really, I guess they weren't strong enough, really strong weapons and items, and then when I went to fight I was just like, oh, you're that kind of boss.
Getting thrashed.
I was just like, this is a big no-no. So I was like, I guess I'll come back to this at some point, but I haven't gone back to the game after finishing it. I just haven't been that bothered with it. I mean, like I had a lot of fun playing it and going through it all, but now I'm just like,
it's no Hades.
Yeah, exactly, right. Oh, speaking of Hades, I finally got everything, or like I finally got the reunion with the family.
Oh, nice.
So I was just like,
yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's nice. This is really good. It kind of closes it up. And then I got all the secret arms, all the secret weapons aspects, and I gotta say my favorite, it's between the fists and the gun.
Yeah, really? You turned around on the fist, huh?
Because the fist actually, it's pretty fun. I also do like Excalibur. I'm not gonna lie, but I see more success with. Oh wait, no, I see the most success with the gun and Excalibur. The fist I started playing with around more because I got the Gilgamesh aspect, and I'm like, oh shit, this makes it really cool. I like that you can increase the amount of damage you do, but you also take increased damage. The bow, the last bow, I'm just like, this is weird. I don't know. I haven't had a good run with it, and also the shield I didn't like that much. Just wasn't my thing. So
shield one, it feels really weird, especially depending on which what is the cast you get can really like throw you off.
Right. I still to this day don't know a good way or a good reason to have a build that has Aphrodite's cast. The short ranged one.
Yeah. I'm just god, it feels so weird. Yeah. I know. I definitely agree. Yeah.
That I do like.
Apparently that's what speedrunners use.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't get that. I'm like, all right.
I guess it's because you just go up in everybody's faces and you just pummel them.
Yeah.
I'll have to try again, but I don't know. I finally beat Hades, his third form. I've beaten him a few times already, and
oh, nice. Only beating that one time. Yeah.
Yo, it's hard, man. And the thing is,
it's fucking hard.
I was about to beat him a fourth time, but the thing is, I had this skeleton thing on. I forgot what they're called. I think it was overtime, and overtime increases the attack speed and movement speed of enemies, and it also does it for bosses. So God. when I was getting closer to beating him, I started choking.
Oh God!
And he started getting in my head. I was like, no, I want to beat him again. And then I fucking lost, and I was like, why was he so fast? And then I looked at the thing. I was like, oh, that's why.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Hades is still good. I love playing Hades when I'm just like, I want to play a game and I want to play it like within 20 or 30 minutes. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
Hades is perfect for that. Like legitimately perfect for that. So let's see, finished Telluride 2, play a little bit of Hades here and there. I actually started a bit of Little Nightmares too.
Oh, okay. Are you spooked?
Not really. Well, I mean, I'm only like still in the beginning area. Well, I mean, not the beginning area, the next area from the beginning.
Are you in a classroom yet? Did you get to a classroom?
No, but I am in a city.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, you'll be freaked out in the classroom.
Oh boy,
100%. It's fucking creepy. I'm like, play with the audio up too, if possible.
Yeah, no, I'm doing that. So the thing is, like, obviously, I'm by myself in the house over in Noriega, and I'm playing it at night, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to be spooked and all that kind of stuff. So, so I'm here playing it, but in the first area, I'm just like, this is not necessarily too creepy. It's just like kind of, it's setting the mood, kind of.
Yeah.
Right? And you interact with a few things, and some things are morbidly there, like dead bodies or mainly dead bodies, and then the person with the shotgun.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not that scary. So, but then when I got into the city, I was like, oh, this is a major shift. This actually seems like it might get a bit creepy. And there was a bit where there was a TV, and I was wondering what the hell, because I was wondering, I was like, okay, what's the significance of all these TVs and all that shit? But then I remembered after having been like thrown into the TV, I was like, oh, that's right, you were watching a broadcast in the beginning or something like that. You get shoved into your character after like some broadcast ends, and I'm just like, oh fuck. So I'm like curious what the hell's going on here, because the story is not being told to you. You're experiencing it in real time, is what I'm getting. So I'm curious. I'm curious to go further in that. So it's fun for the most part right now, because I think I'm getting now what you mean by it's an interesting approach to a platformer, because it's like a co-op, but you're not co-oping with anybody. It's like an AI, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm realizing some of the puzzles that you have to solve, and you have to like talk to your ally, your co-op person who's not being controlled by anybody. It's like literally, what's that one game? The one game with the pet, the big ass animal.
The Last Guardian.
Yeah, it's like that, but then I guess it's not as complex. It doesn't need to be in so many complex situations, so it actually responds to you. I
remember us playing that, or you watching me play that.
Yeah, that's right. You finished it.
Oh my god.
That was a time. That was definitely a time.
That was legit something I do not remember going through that game fondly. I was like, oh man.
That's ridiculous thinking about that game, because it was anticipated by some people, like PewDiePie, for instance.
A lot of people, yeah.
But going back, yeah, I've just been playing that. I did try a little bit of the Tsubasa Strikers, because that I only tried it that one time that I told you about it. I haven't gone back to learn the mechanics more, so I do need to give it another shot. But for the most part, it is essentially the Mario Strikers I wanted for an updated platform, and I do appreciate that. But like I said, my first go at it, like it literally was, it was just the biggest, what would you call it, like
hand holding?
No, not hand holding, but no, like when I did the 1v1, I didn't do like I got through like the tutorial bit where it was just teaching you a bit, but then I did a 1v1 match immediately after that, because I was like, let's see what happens. And it was like arduous. Nobody scored points for the longest time ever, and then
so like real soccer.
Yeah, okay, you got me there. But then it went to the penalty points, not penalty points, like because no one scored anything for a long time, they're giving these chances for people to just score, and then like the way that it was done, the AI had the advantage. So I was just like, oh fuck, so I lost. But you mentioned that if I learned some more of the mechanics, I might enjoy it a bit more, so we'll see what happens when I give it another shot.
Yeah, I mean, just try it out, see if you enjoy it or not. There's obviously some parts of it that you might not enjoy, and I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, but yeah, That's
Let's hear
cool.
about what you're playing, buddy. I know you're talking about DQ11 and Yakuza.
Yes, DQ, Dragon Quest 11. I'm like now on Act 3 of the game. So like Act 1 is like you're totally right where it is bare bones JRPG. It is like it hits all that stereotype. And I was like, okay. And the way it ends, Act 1, I was like, oh, I guess I didn't see that coming. And then Act 2 is like you reunite the party, right? In a way that's like, okay.
It's
I was like
Final Fantasy
okay,
6,
go
man.
ahead. Yeah, I didn't play Final Fantasy 6, so I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
that.
I didn't play Final Fantasy. Oh shit! Then I spoiled you.
Nah, it's fine, whatever.
But Final Fantasy 6 has this like build up to like its second act where Kefka ends up ruling the world, and then he splits the party, right? And then that's where I was like, oh, it's kind of similar in what's happening in Dragon Quest 11, where it's not necessarily somebody. Well, okay, the bad guys do kind of win. So yeah, that happened, and I was like, oh, I can kind of liken it to that. I obviously don't remember that much, and plus I only got so far in the second act. I don't know where you're at, but anyways, continue.
I'm on Act 3 now.
Act 3.
So, I mean, do people care if we spoil this? Like, it can't be, right? No one gives a shit about Dragon Quest and America.
Wait. Okay, so Act 3. Where I remember leaving off was in Act 2, you gain this special power by training in this place that's like a hyperbolic time chamber.
Oh, yeah. So that's like in the beginning parts of Act 2.
Oh, damn. Okay. Damn, you're in Act 3.
This
Oh,
game's
shit.
fucking long.
Okay.
I
think I might care about spoilers because I actually really
Really?
did like the game and I do want to eventually get back to it and finish it.
Wait, do you? Because you're playing the Switch version, right? Or no, you have the PS4.
I sold my PS4 and the PS4, so
and you
I'd have to
sold
start.
it, so you have to start all over, dude. That is fucking long. Because I'm on. There's a part in Act 3 too that I was just like, this is not a spoiler, but I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, I guess that's it. I was like, that's weird. I was like, that's kind of so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you go back, you see what happens, and you're like, okay, well that's okay. I was like, I guess it's the end post game now. And then they're like, no, here's another thing that could happen. I'm like, are you serious? Like you said the end, and then they're like, no, act. I was like, well, it can't be that long, right? We just gotta do this one thing. And I'm like fucking 15 hours into Act 3. I'm like, dude, the entire game. I was like, I'm just playing the entire game again somehow. Like, I'm just going through it again. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, really? What the hell?
But in a way that what happened in Act 1 and Act 2 mattered.
Okay.
So it's like, because you don't want me to spoil it, so I can't. But like, I'm not gonna spoil it. But I'm just like, I'm blown away that like
they're milking.
I can't even explain the mechanic to you because you could if you.
All right, fine. All right, just spoil me. It's fine because now that I think about it, the game was very long.
Fucking long. So you know how the world falls to darkness at the end of Act 1 essentially.
Right.
That's Act 1, what they call it. Mm-hmm. Act 2, you bring the party back together.
Right.
And then obviously at the end of Act 2, you go beat the Dark One, right?
Okay.
The thing was, so this is a major spoiler, is that Veronica dies, the short girl.
Short girl. Oh shit! No way.
Yeah.
How does she die?
So she's the one that saves everyone from the destruction, right? Which I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I just assumed they just got launched separately somehow, right?
Oh, you mean in like when everybody got split in the party?
Yeah, because I just assumed, right? I guess they just landed different places, right?
Right.
Like but no, she used all her magic to send everyone off to like different places, and she dies there. And I'm like, oh shit, she's just dead. And like, I was like, oh my god, because when you come back, when you recruit everyone back, you go back to the Arbosia, the place where her and Serena are from.
Oh wait, is Act 3 bringing her back to life?
Yes.
God damn it. Okay. All right.
But. So when you come back, she's the only one that doesn't get a side story, which kind of sucks. Because I was just like, I was like, oh, that's weird. Serena's just here by herself, and it's like, oh, where's Veronica? Because like you guys are you're twins, right? You guys are always together. They're like, yeah. Like, oh, she's over here. I sense her like over here, and you go and you see her body, and then she disappears into light. And only her staff remains, and you see how she sacrificed herself for you guys. And I'm like, oh shit! I was like, what? I was like, I just lost my black mage. I was like, fuck. And like Serena gets all sad. She like cuts her hair like a Mulan moment.
Oh my god.
And like she gains all the powers that her sister has, so she becomes your black mage, white mage type. I'm like, oh fuck, holy shit, that's crazy. And then you go fight the Dark Lord. You beat all his bosses, and then you fight him, right? And then it's like, well, we did it. The world got fucked from the Dark Lord, but we saved the world from darkness. And you can go around to all the other towns, and they'll be like, hey, thanks for everything. And they're like, yeah, cool. And like, this is also Act 3 you could totally miss. I teleported to a random town, and I saw like in the middle of the map, I was like, oh, what the fuck's that? I was like, it's like a little like ruin place, and I was like, I don't remember seeing that. And so I run there, and it opens this entire cutscene about the ability to time travel. I'm like,
oh my god.
I'm like, are you serious? And it's like, oh yeah, like here's this ability. You could go back and save her. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird, because that kind of makes her whole sacrifice kind of seem mute, right? You just go back in time. But to go back in time, you have to shatter the Sword of Light, which is the thing, like, I was like, oh, fuck. I just spent all of Act 2 getting that. And only the main hero can go back in time.
Okay.
So you go back in time. You're still at the same level, and you're exactly at the part right before the end of Act 1. Like, right before you go to Yeager.
Okay.
I'm just like... And, like... All your party members are the same level when they were there, right? So you're just like, what the fuck? But you know how the end of Act 1, like, right? You get backstabbed by Jasper with, like... Or, yeah, backstabbed, and then, like, oh, he was the villain all along, even though we already knew that, like, right. The king was secretly evil, right? So you stop that essentially from happening, because you know, your character knows ahead of time, and you beat the Dark Lord here and there, essentially, or you don't beat him, but you stop it from happening, so you get the Sword of Light. And I'm like, oh. But then the king doesn't reveal himself as evil, but you know he's evil, which is really weird, because I'm just like, okay, you know he's evil, but he plays it off in a way that none of your characters would believe you, right? Okay. That he was evil. So you're like, oh, okay. And so you come back into town, right? You come back to Heliodor, or the kingdom. Right. Everyone's alive, essentially. Like, all that part, Act 2, does not happen. And you're like, oh, shit. And then the king tries... But also, when you go back in time, another evil spirit follows you. And he actually shows up in Act 2 at a part you could totally miss.
Okay.
It's like, legit, I was like, wait, is this the thing that happens in this? Is that the character that appears in this part? Because you can totally skip that entire part and not understand. I was like, oh. So, because the end of Act 1 does not happen, this new evil becomes the main evil and kills the first bad guy, which I was just like, okay. And then now you have to bad guy. Right. And now you have to go stop the new bad guy, but you can essentially do everything in Act 2 and stop it from before it happens.
Okay.
So it's fucking crazy. There's like so much, like there's like, where would you be at? So like the Octagon area is already a casino, but it doesn't get conquered by a demon in that area, and you don't get to see that really gross part where
I don't think I was
like,
at a casino.
oh,
I don't
okay.
remember.
Yeah, essentially they give you a way to get all your powers back
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how your characters gain all their abilities back from Act 2, which I was like, thank God, because holy shit, I lost so much levels. I was like, oh shit. And essentially there's new problems that are not as bad because the world isn't fucked yet. But essentially you save all the towns from getting fucked from what happens because of the end of Act 1. So it's a weird time travel thing where you're like, I can go back in time and legitimately stop everything from happening, but you don't have to do that at all, and you can just go to the final boss if you want. It's really weird. I'm just like, oh, I just stop this right now. I can just I'm like, oh, interesting. And like characters like have parts where they're like, I feel like I remember you, but I've never met you, because all the stuff that happens in Act 2 essentially does not happen. So it's like very weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, dude, that's a lot. I didn't realize.
It is a lot.
I didn't realize that there. I really shouldn't have stopped playing when I stopped. Why did I stop? I don't remember. I think I was still in my last semester of university, or last 2 semesters. So I think I got more into finishing up school.
That makes sense.
I think, because I do remember having a lot of fun. Oh, I think it was a combination of that and then hearing the announcement of the Switch version where it was.
Oh, right,
edition.
yes, I remember, because you were like saying the Switch version was going to come out.
Right, and I got
It's going to
salty.
destroy all your progress.
Yeah, because they added stuff that wasn't from the PS4 version, but then later on they ended up adding that that Switch stuff to the PS4 as DLC.
Yes.
So, yeah. So does that mean that you're done with the game?
I have to finish one more town and then do the final boss, and then that's it.
Okay, but overall, what is your general reception of it?
It's like the easiest RPG I can like go through and like not think at all. Like it's so like, not saying that's a bad thing, but you can like very easily just turn off your brain and play the game and just experience it. Their auto battle, like fight wisely, is super smart, and there's so many times where I'm like, I don't give a shit, and it's just like these are just like mobs I'm like running through, and like I could care less. The speed up battle is super important because like God, the fighting is so slow if you put it on normal speed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of quality of life apparently that made it a lot more enjoyable, and they took out a lot of the slack stuff. So it's fine. Like I enjoy it. It will probably not be like one of my favorite JRPGs in the world.
Right. It's like a traditional JRPG.
It's very traditional, but if like you're not looking to something like, oh fuck, I need to like think of my team strategy. Am I gonna like, nah, you don't gotta worry about that. Just fucking just like play through it. Just like It's like very something you could easily just do to the side and then stop every couple of quests and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna. And I appreciate that the world is really small and easy to navigate. There's something about it where it's like, it's not like a fucking hallway, right? Not like Final Fantasy 10. Or 13. Or 13 and 10 have these really big issues where like, these are just hallways and there's nothing interesting. Well, like, but they disguise it as a big world because there's just so much to explore. Where Dragon Quest is like, there's not that much to explore. But the world is slightly big, but not big enough where it's like a hassle.
Right.
Because like, I think of it like Breath of the Wild, right? If you want to fast travel, you can, as long as you find these like little, as long as you find the shrines, and you could get there by horse. But getting there by horse takes a really long time, and there's a lot of adversaries in your way that could like hinder you, because that's just the world it is. And the horse sucks. But here, your horse is fucking fast as fuck, and you can just, if you're strong enough, you can just bulldoze through weak enemies.
I remember that.
And get some experience.
But
yeah,
just as a whole, do you? I feel like I felt like when I was initially talking about the game, you would like it. So do you like it?
I do enjoy it. It's pretty fun. Like, if I think about like going into an RPG and like, oh, this is gonna take a lot of time, Like that's right now Yakuza 7 for me, where I'm like, this is gonna take a really long fucking time, and I need to like sit myself down. I gotta really pay attention, and like look at the game, right, and like do like watch out for stuff. While in Dragon Quest, I'm literally like half paying attention to what's happening because I don't need to look at what's going on. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, my characters are strong enough and the game's smart enough to just figure shit out for you. And it's so like the world isn't like interactive really enough where you have to be like, oh, okay, I gotta look for certain shit. So it does it really well in terms of being like a very easy to do JRPG.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do actually enjoy it. I was surprised. People were right. It's a pretty solid RPG.
That makes me happy. I saw you tweet about it recently about a certain area that made a pun out of its name, and you thought it was pretty interesting. What was the place again? What was it exactly? The joke that you're making?
Oh yeah, it's called Phomnom. It's a phenomenon, and there's often going.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Phomnom.
Okay,
there's
that's definitely.
There's the masked martial artist instead of mixed martial artists. There's a Hawaii island where they talk like Hawaiians. There is a Spain-like town. It's very interesting that a lot of towns have very unique accents, and like, oh, this is just like their culture there. I was like genuinely impressed that, oh, okay, like it's not like obnoxious, right? It's like, oh, this is Hawaii, but it's not like there's lays everywhere, right? And people are hula dancing and all that shit. It's just, this is just a fish island, and they speak like, they have like a Hawaiian dialect there. And I'm like, it's pretty nice. Like every town feels quite unique, and it doesn't feel like, oh, this is just X town, A town, B town. Like, you know, like I compare it to like old school Pokemon, where you're like, okay, here's this town. Every character looks the same. Everyone talks the same. But there is a gym leader here, so that's what's important. I was like, I gotta go to this town to go fight. So I think every town is pretty unique, and also metal slimes are fucking awesome. Nothing builds more excitement
like
in my heart than watching a metal slime. I'll be like, oh shit, don't run, please.
You get all the XP for such a short amount of time.
Yeah, but they can run away, and it's just, or if your character misses, and you're like, no, you're just like fucking like, wow, God, why? It's such a weird thing that no JRPG like ever does. They did it in Pokemon kind of, but it wasn't the same.
Okay. Actually, I want to have you end off with Yakuza 7, but the thing is, Ben, can you speak a little bit, real quick?
Hello? Yes?
Okay, so I think your connection has started getting a bit jittery, and for the past, I think, 5-6 minutes, you're like cutting in and out, and I'm, I'm like, what the heck?
I know what's causing it. Okay, hold on.
What's happening?
Do this real quick. I'm doing a file transfer right now for work, so that's probably why it's cutting in and out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, okay, so feel free to... Oh, wait, actually, let me comment real quick. So I remember before when I was talking about Dragon Quest, the one thing that I did appreciate a lot was the way that they did the accents for different cultures. So hearing that you're also appreciating it makes me really happy, because I thought that was a nice touch that you wouldn't have gotten if you were to have played like the Japanese only version. Like with voice acting. So I definitely really like the localization for it. They definitely did a good job with it.
I 100% agree on that. The localization is like, what I said back to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where it's too English. This is like just the right amount of like, okay, here is how this like country work, or the country stuff, right? Because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 like pulls you out. It's like, this is too English sounding, where it's like, oh god, and the characters are so anime looking, where it's like, this is like doubling down in terms of like Visually, this is awkward.
There's like a dissonance.
Yeah, but stepping away from a game that has an amazing dub is Yakuza 7 or Like a Dragon.
Okay.
Has a phenomenal dubbing. It's like exceptional. Because someone was like, Yakuza 7's dub is on par with the Japanese dub. And I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous because the lips you gotta do lip syncing. These characters look like humans. Like they're all human looking, right? You're gonna tell me they're gonna nail the dubbing, right? Mm-hmm. And they fucking do it so well. Every character has such phenomenal lines. Every character sounds unique. And like they get their personalities down to the characters extremely well. The only problem is that NPCs in a fight, like the unimportant villains,
right?
Like boss mob enemies, they still talk in Japanese. And it's like, oh shit. They're like, Kakate koi, and then he's like, and then like Ichiban's like, come on, bring it. I'm like, oh my god, no. This is like, what the fuck? It's so awkward. And then like when you go into a store, they'll say hello in Japanese, and I'm like, oh no, like this is awkward now. Because every and then like the only problem is that, but luckily it's like small time NPCs. Mm-hmm. But like if you're in a major boss fight or anything, they talk perfectly in English, and it's very good. Like, all the word choices they use is really good and like mm-hmm. pulls off. So it's super good writing in terms of a dubbing. The combat in the beginning, I was like, this kind of sucks, or it's very bare bones in the beginning when you have one party member with. But then it's kind of like Shin Megami Tensei, where you can like give your skills, your guard, your attacks, very bare bones RPG, right?
Right.
But then when you add the party members, the battle mechanics open up immensely. So you can knock somebody down with one character, and if you're fast enough with your own button presses, you can hit that character while they're down on the floor and deal extra damage. But you have to be like, the way characters move, you can't control them, but they interact with their environment. So in the original Yakuza games, you can pick up items and like hit people with them, like with a traffic cone or a bike. If there's a bike there and your character is in the process of like walking to hit an enemy, he'll pick up that item and hit them with it to deal extra damage. So the way they move throughout the game is in the combat is really important. The only shitty thing is that you can't control it, so you don't have a one-to-one control. So sometimes they move in and out as the fight starts. So if you time it correctly, you can deal extra damage. So it's a very active turn-based RPG in a sense.
Okay.
Like if they're standing against a wall and if you hit them, they'll hit the wall and take extra damage. So, or if like something's in their way, you can kick it. Your character will kick it, and if they're next to it, they'll take the extra damage. But the thing is, the enemies can do the exact same thing to you. So it's not like super easy where it's like, oh, okay, I have all these free tools, because the enemy will also use that as well. Mm-hmm. And then what's the other thing I thought was really interesting? And then you have like very funny skill-based attacks. Like the homeless guy can throw bread on the enemy and pigeons will attack him. Or you can beg, and then if they feel bad, they'll give you an item. So essentially it's like steal, right?
Okay.
But instead you're like begging. You're like, oh my god, please, I'm so sorry. And then they're like, oh, I feel bad for you. Here's like an item. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, this is hilarious. Yeah, so it's good. I would say the beginning parts were like, I was like, oh, this is kind of slow, but the writing's really good.
Right. In
beginning I was like, all right, how are you gonna like be different from Kiryu? because Kiryu was like a very stoic guy with random bullshit that happens to him, and he kind of just deals with it like a badass. Ichiban, it like has random bullshit that gets thrown at him, and he reacts much more like a normal human being. Where it's like he's like people like random shit will happen, and he's like, this is crazy, or like, what the hell is going on? Like, he reacts like a normal person, while Kiryu would just be like, I'm gonna deal with the situation. So he does it he's definitely much more he doesn't feel as like a godlike figure as Kiryu was, but he's like really fun and like has a much more dynamic personality. Also, his motives are like super cute. Like he's like, oh, I want to be a hero because when I was a kid, I played Dragon Quest a lot. And so I just, because he's like super nice to people. Like the first fight you get into is this dude who takes a bunch of money from kids who like, because he sold them fake pornography. he's like Ichiban's like, hey man, he's like, that's fucked up. You can't sell that to kids. He's like, why? They're stupid for like thinking they could just buy like porn from wherever. And he's like, that's messed up. And he beats him up. And instead of stealing the money, he makes his friend go find all those kids and give them back their money. He's like, you want me to find every kid that got robbed that got scammed by this dude and give them back their money? We have like debts that we gotta play to our Yakuza bosses. And he's like, no, this is the right thing to do. I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on? I was just like, generally, he's such a sweetheart. And I'm like, I love this guy. He's fantastic. Like, this homeless dude tells him to hide in a box because, like, they're like, these thugs are making their rounds. And they're like, what's inside this box? And they like, open it. And he's like, hi, how are you guys doing? And then he like headbutts them, and then he's like, you guys are fucked up for taking money from homeless people, you assholes. And then he beats them up and then ridicules them for taking money from the homeless. I'm like, dude, what a guy.
That's awesome. So
he's great.
You sound like you're enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, like, just I'm not sure how well the story is gonna end up, but I love all the characters so far.
Right.
The dubbing is really great. They still have all the fun silliness of the Yakuza games still,
which is always a good thing.
Yes, I am kind of worried about the turn base to see, like, you know, am I gonna be too overpowered? Like, you know, when it like that's my problem. That was my problem in Persona 5, where I was like, this is too easy now. I'm like mopping the floor with everybody without even trying. So I'm just like, I'm kind of worried about that part. But other than that, it's been like genuinely very good, and still Yakuza, but different from previous Yakuzas. So I think it's good.
I have been very, I always say this, but that game has been more on my radar because of my current roommates. So and also because of the fucking the Bakamitai song that has happened, yeah. And it got me curious about where it came from and all that, and then learning about the game a bit more, and then hearing from you, my friend Jeremy, and then also my roommates. It's actually seeing him play it, and also watching a full-on 2-hour cutscene of like the history of I think it's the first Yakuza. It makes me interested in it, because I know the games are they have a lot of humor to them, or you know, I also saw Video Game Donkey review I'm getting Persona, I don't know why I'm talking about Persona. Yakuza 0. I don't know why you answered. Yakuza, dude, literally I didn't even say anything remotely close to its name, and it responds to me. It responds whenever the hell it wants. Yakuza 0, Video Game Ducky talks about it and all that, and he's like, yeah, even a chicken can own your bowling alley. I'm like, what? So,
yeah, he can.
I'm just like, that's very zany, I think is the word I'm looking for. Peculiar.
Oh yeah,
it's just very out there.
even my brother-in-law, who does not like Japanese games at all, like he does not like Final Fantasy. He played Yakuza 0, and he's like, I'm so, and he loved it. He was like so engrossed in the game, and like and all the side quests. He was like, I'm not even doing my main quest. I'm just playing like all these like little mini quests that I want to do. I was like, yeah, because, and he's like, shit's so long. There's just so much to do, and he like loved it. He like, the characters are great, like, and it's just really fun. Even Sydney, she's like, I love. She watched me play Yakuza 7. She's like, she loved the dubbing. She like loved all the characters. She's like, this is great. I was like, yeah. So, I like, I'll fucking show for Yakuza for sure. Like, that's a fantastic series.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it as well. Because I don't know. For me, it's just, God, I don't know what makes me gravitate towards playing a game. I have no clue anymore.
Well, usually for you is good score, the combat looks like something you like, and then the story is good. I think Yakuza's
anime.
Yeah. Like, but Yakuza's like looks very normal, and I think because it's it's like a real world scenario, right? Even though it's a video game, but they look like people, and that's not as interesting as say like a fantasy world, right?
Right.
Like going around like Los Angeles and GTA or wherever it is in fucking Rockstar games, it's kind of fucking boring. It's like, I don't really want to play that. But you're telling me there's a kingdom in trouble with a huge turbulations and political drama? Now you have my fucking attention. Now here we go. I think it looks like that. It doesn't look like that, but because it looks so human, but inside the game is a wacky, extraordinary. Like, one of the first side quests I had to do was find a guy who was peeing in the river because a lady complained about it, and she's like, he's gonna destroy our river. He's gonna turn it yellow, and like you find him, and he's just like, this is my right as a citizen to pee wherever I want, and you're like, this is a public disturbance, dude. You're like gross. He's like, you don't know what it's like to pee freely wherever you want. I'm like,
what? He's trying to appeal to emotion.
Yeah, I was just like, we're like, fuck this dude, beat his ass.
Fuck out of here.
And I was like, the fuck out of here. This is disgusting. You freaking just peeing everywhere. I'm like, just peeing into this river. It's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, dude,
have you gotten summons yet or something like that? Or I don't know if there's summons.
I haven't. There are summons. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Summon them from your cell phone. I could not believe it.
Shit, I didn't know that.
And like, you summon characters from the previous games. I'm like, that's fucking sick. I'm like, that's fucking cool. Because you can summon the chicken too.
Yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one I saw. Or I saw something where this guy is like making that Japanese dish where they put the egg on top of the rice and they just mix it and they eat it. He's like eating that for like a power up, I guess, but it's like a Final Fantasy cutscene, and I'm just like, that is fucking hilarious, and I want to know more. Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of curious about that game specifically.
Yeah, I think Like a Dragon will appeal to you more because it is a turn based, so it has a much more like, instead of just a brawler kind of combat. So you might like it more. Unfortunately, you don't own anything right now that can play it besides your computer.
You are so right. Or, well, okay, I don't own it. Yeah, you're right. I don't own it, but my roommates, obviously, they allow me to play if I want to. But I have this thing where I just don't want to, if it's not mine, like if I don't own it, I don't feel very inclined to use it.
Right. And that makes sense. Cause
yeah. It just doesn't feel...
It's not yours. You feel like you're invading their privacy. Like,
right.
And
like, it's also...
Can I play your games?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure. Like, it's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. It's different for multiplayer games though, because it's like, oh yeah, let's like sit down together.
That is yeah, exactly. That is. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I obviously whenever we have the time to, or if I'm feeling up for it, I play Fortnite with them, and then I make use of their devices and all that. Although recently, PB ended up lending me their Switch to play Atelier Rise on, which was very nice of them, because they don't really use it that much. And I was like, okay, if you're okay with this. And since I don't have a Switch device, I will make use of this. So yeah. what was I gonna say? Yeah, when it comes to multiplayer games, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can start closing it up because we are very much on the precipice of 3 hours, dude.
I know, seriously.
Is there anything you want to close with?
You can pre-order Scarlet Nexus on Steam, PS4, and Xbox.
I wanted to comment
watch
on
that trailer. Did you watch the trailer? The most recent one is actually hella interesting.
Because I saw that they made an announcement that Scarlet Nexus is getting an anime.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, what the heck?
That's cross-market. It already looks like an anime.
Right. But it's like next gen anime.
Oh yeah, dude.
What's up?
Watch that trailer. I'm telling you, watch the Kasane trailer. You'll be it's actually pretty interesting. You're like, wait a minute, I didn't think this was gonna go this way, but okay.
All right, fine. Let me get that.
It's a dual protagonist story.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay, Scarlet Nexus trailer. I'm getting that ready. Okay. And
yeah, that
6 hours
that
ago.
is. Yes.
Okay.
Air today.
Nice. All right. And
do you have anything you wanted to talk about or show before you?
Let's see. On my end, it's just you can follow me on Twitter at just JAINC, or you can follow my YouTube, which I am probably gonna start breathing life into again. Recently I did. Okay, so you know that whole VTuber thing, right? That I try to separate from. Although lately I've been a bit keen or interested in it again because of some friends. There's like Hololive and all that, and some of the music, original music, because I'm more so just focusing on the music that they make nowadays. Some of it's really cool, or some of it I really enjoy. So I recently arranged some music for one of the Hololivers originals, and they ended up seeing it and they retweeted it, and then I should have fucking did it on YouTube because it got on Twitter. It has like 10,000 views and it has a good amount of likes. I think it's 700 now.
Why don't you can still do that, right?
Yeah, I can, but it's just like the initial impressions that were made off of that aren't going to be so, what is it? It's not going to be the same, I feel like. But that's not the point. Basically, on YouTube, I'm trying to do these arrangements for these songs because I don't know, they're nice, and the people that help create them, I actually ended up interacting with some of them because they saw some of the arrangements that I was doing of their songs that they produced for the singers, and they're just like, hey, this is cool, and I'm just like, cool, you're cool too, and it's kind of funny. But yeah, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Gyrus. I think it's C Music, and that's generally it. Yeah, this is episode 32.5, but it's like, honestly, it's just like episode 32.5 and 33.5 at this point.
Seriously. Well, hopefully the audio doesn't get corrupted. Or
oh no, it's fine.
Like last time.
Perfectly fine. I'm looking at the waveform. It's beautiful. All right. We can end it off here. See you guys next time, and have a good day.
Bye.